Good morning and welcome to Early Exchange with Blessing Aiche, Femi Ayodele, Sam Oruoje, and Idahosa Osamanze.
It's a national orientation agency. It's, as far as I'm concerned, very idle and unprofessional.
The government says that subsidy is not in oil and government is not supposed to be paying subsidy in oil.
Energy or whatever kind of off-grid solution we will be looking at.
Today we are conducting mining today. Solid minerals, as an example, is, in no disrespect to anybody, is abysmal. We definitely need improvements in those areas. Of course, there are infrastructural needs.
This is Early Exchange, shaping policy, advancing development.
All right, it's another beautiful day, another great opportunity for us to look at issues related to business, finance, national development, the economy. This is Early Exchange, and I am Femi Ayodele. As you know, the Early Exchange is all about shaping policy and advancing development with our conversation. Today is not going to be different. We're going to do something special for you. Today we'll be looking at businesses that thrive during Christmas. You know, we're preparing for Christmas. The atmosphere is there. Everything is giving us the indication that yes, Christmas is almost here. Don't forget that it is your program. This implies that you can be part of this conversation by going on our social media platform, on our YouTube page to share your view. And we hope that to spend the next 3 hours with us will make your day worthwhile. We add value to your time, and it's going to be productive for all of us. I am not alone. The beautiful Blessing, she's here. That's a good morning.
Good morning, Femi.
Yeah.
Should I say Merry Christmas?
Yes.
Because we just have 4 days before the
Just
day.
a few days to Christmas.
So I do hope that you
it's
do not
not too early
forget
to say that.
Yeah, you do not forget a very important part of Christmas, which is to show love and to share gifts.
Exactly.
Please have that in mind.
Yeah. I'm also expecting my gifts.
Don't worry.
It's a two-way thing.
Lady Santa will definitely take care of
No,
that.
they say ladies first.
Really? Okay. Okay. Good morning. Thank you for joining us on Early Exchange. As always, it promises to be a beautiful package. And today, like Femi has informed you, we'll be looking at the businesses of Christmas. You need to stick around to find out if your business falls into that category and how you can take advantage of the season, not take advantage of the people or the customers, but take advantage of the season to ensure that you position your business strategically for this period. Okay, we'll do all of that after we get updated on current happenings, and that Grace Komolafe will take us on a beautiful ride around the globe. Let's go over now to News Desk.
Good morning to you and a warm welcome to the morning news update on Souq News, your favorite station for developmental news from Nigeria and across the world. I am Grace Komolafe. In today's headlines, President Tinubu approves 50% slash in Yuletide transport fares. NAFDAC takes bold steps against adulterated products, conducts operation to safeguard public health. African Development Bank adopts safety measures, withdraws staff from Ethiopia following security incident. UAE establishes forward-looking accountability authority for financial and operational transparency. Glad to know you joined. Remember to engage and follow us on all our social media platforms. We'd love to hear from you. We'll begin the update with an exciting news from President Bola Tinubu as he approves a 50% reduction in interstate transport fares for Nigerian traveling during the Yuletide, effectively from December 21, 2023 to January 4, 2024. The announcement was made by the Minister of Solid Minerals Development, Dele Alake, who is leading the committee overseeing this initiative.
In the spirit of Christmas and the end of year festivities, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, in another demonstration of his love for Nigerians, has approved that the federal government should intervene to bring down the cost of public transportation, to allow our compatriots who want to travel to visit their loved ones and hometown to do so without stress and the extra burden imposed by the high cost of transport around this period. President Tinubu wants Nigerians to be able to travel within Nigeria to wherever they want to go to meet their loved ones without the extra burden of paying exorbitantly for interstate public transportation. It is in this wise that the President is announcing through us Nigerians willing to travel can board public transport via minibuses, luxury buses at 50% discount of current cost, and all our train services on the routes the trains currently serve at zero cost to and fro on their travels this holiday season. This special presidential intervention will commence tomorrow, Thursday, December 21, and it will end on January 4, 2024. The federal government, through the Ministry of Transportation, will be working with transporters, road transport unions, the Nigerian Railway Corporation to seamlessly deliver on this special.
Alake emphasized that starting today, Nigerians can avail themselves of this opportunity, enjoying a 50% discount on minibuses and luxury buses, while train services on applicable routes will be provided at zero cost throughout the holiday season. Moving on, the House of Representatives has urgently called on the federal government to issue exemption certificates on value-added tax and import duty to contractors overseeing critical power projects nationwide. This resolution was reached during an investigative hearing led by the House Committee on Public Accounts Committee, PAC, chaired by Honorable Bamidele Salam. Representatives from the Transmission Company of Nigeria, TCN, and the contractors highlighted the offshore component of these contracts, necessitating VAT and IDEC waivers due to the sourcing of giant transformers from outside Nigeria. Expressing concern over challenges hindering project implementation, they emphasized the urgency of rescuing the power sector from its current predicament. And we move to the energy sector. The $19 billion Dangote refinery has received an additional 1 million barrels of crude oil, marking the second delivery within 2 weeks, following the initial 1 million barrels received earlier. The refinery had procured the first 1 million barrels of Agbani crude grade from Shell International Trading and Shipping Company Limited as part of the larger 6 million barrels to be supplied by various suppliers. The latest cargo was discharged into the refinery's crude oil tanks at the single point mooring, bringing the total deliveries to approximately 2 million barrels. Industry experts anticipate the refinery's imminent commencement of operations, recognizing its potential to significantly impact the economies of Nigeria and West Africa. And now, the National Agency for Food, Drug Administration and Control, NAFDAC, has revealed a comprehensive list of adulterated wines and drinks currently in circulation, shedding light on steps for verifying the authenticity of products. The unveiled list includes various brands such as Seaman Shinap, Hennessy, Four Cousins, Calorosi, Jenny, Chelsea London Dry, among others. NAFDAC, in response to the prevalence of counterfeit products, recently conducted an operation at the Ezioko market in Aba, Abia State, resulting in the interception of over 240 shop-turned factories producing harmful beverages. The Director General, Professor Moji Adeyeye, highlighted the unhygienic condition and use of harmful chemicals in these operations, emphasizing the risks to public health. And to some monetary issues, the government of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Dr. Olayemi Cardoso, has stressed the necessity of the proposed banking recapitalization to shield banks from microeconomic risks and facilitate their funding of substantial transactions. Speaking at the 2023 Nigerian Sustainability Summit, organized by Access Holdings PLC in collaboration with the European Sustainable Development Organization EOSD and Financial Nigeria in Lagos, Cardoso highlighted the current economic state and the need to safeguard the banking sector from the impact of new policies. He pointed out that the previous 25 billion naira capital requirement for banks in 2005 is insufficient to address present operational risks. As the Yuletide celebration draws near, Nigerians have been urged to be calm, peaceful, patient, and joyful despite obstacles and challenges. While noting that Nigerians had made several sacrifices to make the country united and peaceful, the need for government and citizens to curb their excess lifestyle and make more sacrifices in the interest of the nation was stressed. This advice was given at the annual Festival of Carols at the Holy Cross Cathedral, Lagos. They also urge Nigerians
acknowledge the work of God in our lives in spite of the challenges that we have. Because otherwise, how would we be standing if it were not for God? Now it is for us to begin to remind ourselves of all that Jesus has taught us in terms of what we need to do to make the world a better place. Therefore, as individuals within this country, it is our duty to ensure that we, as it were, recognize the dignity of every human person and respect the life and the living of every human person. If we are able to see Jesus in everyone, then we will treat them differently than some will treat others at this point in time. So that is one thing that we all need to do.
In these hard times, let us remember that nothing is too difficult. Nothing is impossible for our Lord Jesus Christ to do.
They also urge Nigerians to be security conscious and adhere to safety measures at this Yuletide season. We go on a short break and return with more stories. Don't go anywhere.
My name is Dr. Rafiu Oladipo.
My name is Baba Jalal Repega.
I'm Reverend Juliet Benite.
I'm Godio Didi.
My name is Professor Oladokun Sulaiman Olarawaju.
Souq News is on the ground, loading.
Very enlightening, very educative, and entertaining.
Thank you to Souq News.
So I'm happy that Souq TV has come into existence.
I'm happy to be here in the Souq News.
I want to encourage you to subscribe to the channel and keep watching news that makes sense.
As Browning said, one's extension of one's reach should not exceed one's grasp, or what is heaven for. And I think Souq News is doing that.
Africa needs a voice of truth, and Souq News has become one of them. And get ready, get ready, get ready.
And keep watching.
Keep watching Souq News.
Keep watching Souq News. It's a place to be.
Keep watching.
Welcome back. Away from Nigeria, the African Development Bank has withdrawn all its international staff from Ethiopia, while the office continued to operate under an officer in charge. This move comes in response to a recent breach of diplomatic protocol and assault on 2 international staff members by Ethiopian security forces. The affected staff, unlawfully arrested and physically assaulted recently, prompted immediate action from the bank's president, Dr. Akinwumi Adesina. Despite efforts, the situation remains unresolved, leading to concerns about the safety of the bank's employees. As a precautionary measure, international staff will work remotely until the Ethiopia government shares transparent findings of its investigation. And still in Africa, in the face of health challenge, Zambia has taken proactive measures to address the recent anthrax outbreak and cholera-related fatalities. Despite reported cases, the nation is demonstrating resilience by distributing chlorine for water purification in affected areas, emphasizing a commitment to ensuring the well-being of the citizens. Health Minister Sylvia Masebo's dedication to promoting hygiene measures reflects a collective effort to overcome health issues. Similarly, Zambia's response aligns with global health standards and contributes to regional well-being and the nation's commitment to public health. Moving on, Ghana's economy landscape shows adaptability as it manages a slight reduction in growth to 2.0% year-on-year in the third quarter of 2023, following a downturn in the industrial sector. Despite facing its most significant economic crisis in decades, characterized by a weakened cedi and double-digit consumer price increase, Ghana is finding stability with positive contributions from its agricultural sector. Notably, agriculture made a favorable impact amid challenges in cocoa farming. In November, the nation witnessed a decline in producer inflation to 2.0% from October's revised 9.7%, while consumer inflation decreased to 26.4% from 35.2% in the same period. Now moving over to the Middle East. In an inaugural address as Emir of Kuwait following the recent demise of his predecessor, Sheikh Mashal Al-Hamad Al-Sabah has expressed concern towards lawmakers and the government, asserting that certain decisions have adversely affected the national interest of the U.S.-allied state. Sheikh Mashal 83 specifically denounced appointments to positions that he deemed incompatible with basic principles of justice and fairness, highlighting his objection to pardons granted by his predecessor. This marks the Emir's first public commentary since assuming the leadership role, and his remarks suggest a stance against perceived deviations from ethical governance in Kuwait. And we move to United Arab Emirates, where His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Yazan, and I take this again, we move to the United Arab, where His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan has issued Federal Decree Law number 56 of 2023, establishing the UAE Accountability Authority, which supersedes the Supreme Audit Institution and directly reports to the President. The new authority is designed to uphold and enhance the integrity of public finances, serving as the supreme body for financial control, auditing integrity and transparency in the country. The decree outlines the authority's functions, emphasizing its role in overseeing financial accounting and operational activities to combat corruption. With this, the authority aims to instill integrity and transparency in the federal government and contribute to the country's financial and economic reputation. And finally, despite facing challenges, junior doctors in England has launched its most intensive strike, spanning 3 days, with plans to extend it to 6 days from January 3 to 9. The British Medical Association, representing around 50,000 junior doctors, initiated the strike as part of a prolonged dispute over pay. While Cheltenham General Hospital temporarily closed its accident and emergency department due to the very challenging environment, London hospital authorities issued a plea for the public to utilize emergency services for real emergencies only. Junior doctors seeking a 35% pay improvement to address the cumulative impact of inflation are taking a stand after negotiation broke down over the government's offer of an 8% to 10% raise. And that's our package today on the Morning News Update on Souq News. Many thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more analysis on Early Exchange by Blessing Aiche and Femi Ayodele. I am Grace Komolafe. Good morning.
My name is Olatunji Shoti Miri. I'm a performing artist and, television radio presenter and a university lecturer, Unilag. Keep watching Souq News.
Hello everyone, my name is Kenny Black, Africa's finest music comedian, and you're watching Souq News. If you're not watching Souq News, I pity you, but keep watching Souq News.
Hello everyone, my name is Timida Kolo and you're watching Souq News. Stay tuned.
Hi, my name is Wisdom Oluwaseun Okoko, co-founder Orbit Africa Properties. I'm live at Souq News. Guys, keep watching Souq News. For everything that concerns business, economy, politics, news, Souq News is your station.
Good morning and welcome to Early Exchange with Blessing Aiche, Femi Ayodele, Sam Oruoje, and Idahosa Osamanze.
It's a national orientation agency. It's, as far as I'm concerned, very idle and unprofessional.
Government says that subsidy is not in oil, and government is not supposed to be paying subsidy in oil.
Energy or whatever kind of off-grid solution we will be looking at.
Today we are conducting mining today. Solid minerals, as an example, is, in no disrespect to anybody, it's abysmal. We definitely need improvements in those areas. Of course, there are infrastructural needs.
This is Early Exchange, shaping policy, advancing development.
All right, glad to know you're still there with us, and we must thank Grace for that news update. It's time for news analysis, where we review the major headlines trending today. And as usual, you can count on us when it comes to Early Exchange. You get the best of news analysis. Our news team, our news analysts, the wise ones, they are here. Good morning, Dr. Idahosa Osamanze, aka the wise man.
Femi, good morning.
Good morning,
this greeting looks too special today.
No, it's more like, Christmas is almost here.
I can imagine.
So that greeting is to prepare you for something coming.
I have done my part.
Glad to have you here as always.
My pleasure to be here. Blessing, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
All right, let's start with...
We're doing the countdown. We're just 4 days away from Christmas. So you can understand why Femi is already greeting you specially, because we're in that special season.
Some in life, you sow a seed so that you can get the bigger harvest.
Yeah.
That's exactly
this
what
looks like someone setting trap with goats. You know what he's about to reap.
The harvest is here.
All right, let's start with this good news from the president. The president is always in the news, and not just for the wrong reason anyway, for the good one. In recent times, I think he's been living up to that. Not that because we like to just sing his praise, but our job as journalists is to talk about whatever is in the public space, as long as it's news, and our job is to do the analysis. So let's start with the news related to the reduction in transport fare, 50% reduction road transport fare from interstate travel. The president or the representative of the president made an announcement yesterday, and then zero cost when it comes to train transport. You know, it's a good one, and I think it's a good development way to encourage Nigerians. There's always this development around this period where you discover that the demand for transport services are usually very high because people want to go for holiday, want to make travels. But you also observe that even transport owners take advantage of that to hike, you know, the cost of transport. You would expect naturally once the demand is high, the price should come down. But in this climate, it's usually the opposite. You're not paying more for fuel because the price of fuel is still the same. You're covering the same distance. For instance, if you're traveling to Benin now, maybe within 4 to 5 hours you are there. If you're traveling during this time, it's not going to change. The hours are not going to increase.
In the olden days.
You know, but the point I'm driving at is why increasing the fare if you're covering the same the same distance during this time, and then it's what's become a practice because people want to take advantage of this moment to make money. Everybody's in a hurry to make money. Okay, let me see what I can make before the year is over. Then the interesting thing is the president has said, okay, I don't want a repeat of what happened last year. I don't want a repeat of this. Nigerians, they have reasons to smile now, you know, and so the president made the announcement. Let me take this to Dr. Idahosa first. What's your quick reaction to this?
Well, I think for me, it's not a bad news at all for those ones that where the government has stake. When they talked about road transportation, I was wondering if the federal government buses are already on the road. But at least we can understand the train services, which of course government has a lot of stake in it. So that's possible. But whether this will apply to transport owners is another thing we cannot tell. You know, one thing government can do is to see how to really also have investment in this sector. Then you can actually have control. A lot of people who are going to travel by road, of course, which of course most people are going to travel by road because the train services is not connecting all the major cities yet. So they are going to, of course, go by road. And most of those transport systems are not owned by government. So government cannot reduce the prices for those transportation, except that government take it upon itself to go and pay these companies on behalf of the citizens, which of course I don't think is fixable. Yeah, but if government has a mass transit service that is working as functional, like you have in other states, I saw the Morocco bus transit. It's beautiful. Their train service is beautiful. So if you have such facilities on ground, then it is easy for this actually to apply for those who are going to do the travel. So, but for those who are using the train service, especially from Lagos to Ibadan here now, at least that's good news. Yeah, for this Utah season, and especially those also using Itakpe via Warri. Of course, they will also have to enjoy this benefit. But then Kaduna to Abuja, Abuja to Kaduna. So all these tracks that are functional, of course, that's where the benefit lies. But how it will reach out to the majority of Nigerians who will be traveling to places where government buses does not go to, places where public train service are not functional, is another thing. I hope it will be possible for the organized private sector in that regard to maintain their fare, even if they are not reducing it. They just maintain it and allow it to be. If you are going to travel and from here to Benin is already 17,000, let it just remain at that and not increase it. But I was asking this yesterday evening and somebody was already telling me public transport from here to Asaba is already put at 37,000 within the same space. And that's to tell you how opportunistic that we are. And I don't think that is what we should be. This is a season where we share love, where we care for one another, whether as Muslims or as Christian, because a person of Jesus, as they say in the Bible, or Isa in the Quran, is one and same person. And this is a man who came for all, as acknowledged by both religion. So I expect that it should be a season where people should naturally become very sensitive in terms of assisting others who are less privileged, not necessarily adding burden to the other. But you know, we're quite opportunistic people. It's not just even the Yuletide. You wake up in the morning and get to the bus stop, and then there is some crowd in the bus stop. Then, of course, the conductor changes price. So this is, we are used to it. And I'm praying that that day will come when our hearts will be circumcised.
Why do you have that kind of development, you know?
Yeah. This is, it's unfortunate, and that's what we keep speaking to. And I think for me, as a person, I have not seen the deep impact of religion in us. Because this is, religion ought to have filled that space. And that's why when you go to other climes where people are deeply religious, they put into consideration what service they have toward others. But in our climb here, that has not really happened, because that religion has not passed through our spirit to help us to understand that this man who is traveling, probably on the same salary, has not changed. Yeah, he has not changed his salary. So the fact that there's an accident on the road that makes this thing happen, and you just take advantage of that person, and that speaks to, for me, the wickedness of the heart. And that's why a lot of people think that the black man's heart is very black. It's unfortunate, but we see it happen from time to time. And it's also to appeal to especially those people who are in this business of making life very difficult for their fellow citizens, to use this season to rethink and change their heart and be of help one to another and be one's brother's keeper. That's my simple message to the people, fellow Nigerians on the other side of the divide.
Well, for the federal government trying to intervene in the transport situation, I do hope that the federal government is able to do that because according to the minister, the government is talking with them. So I do not know if that means some form of subsidy will be given to transporters so that they can reduce the fare by 50% for Nigerians who want to travel, because the government doesn't own enough buses for interstate travel. It's just some few states that have that kind of transport line, but not very many of them, and it will not be enough even. I imagine the kind of crowd you would have at a state-owned transportation service if this happens. It's supposed to begin today, 21st to January 4th, but I think it will perhaps reduce the demand at other transport lines for those who will be using train station, and it's quite free. So that means those who naturally will want to take bus, maybe compare the fare that the buses would charge, the train would charge. Since it's free, they will choose to go through that route. And well, for the transporters, they have lots of excuses. When you ask them, well, we'll be talking to one of them today, so he can also share his own part of the story and tell us things from their perspective, what happens. They will tell you, oh, getting fuel, but good enough, we've not seen that kind of fuel scarcity that we usually see during this period. They'll tell you gridlock, that the routes are congested because you have so many persons traveling, so it takes more time getting to the destination compared to at other times. But regardless of the challenges that they may also be going through, I do not think that, for instance, Asaba becoming 37,000 naira from Lagos to Asaba, I think that's really exorbitant. And while the season is a good one for certain kinds of business to take advantage of, it should not mean that you take advantage of the customers, because you need to remember that January will come as well. And those same customers are the ones that you're depending on to come patronize you. So it's not just, this is not just a call to transporters, but to all other kinds of businesses that thrive, that have huge demand this period. Think about January. It's the longest month in the year, not by date, but in the minds of everyone, because all this extra cash that people are trying to get off one another, they must have expended them in one form or the other during the Yuletide. And in January, you're waiting for business. Business is slow. So think about that too. But I hope that the intervention is planned, comes through, maybe through some subsidy, and people are able to travel. It will really be a relief. Imagine people who cannot travel now, get 7,000 naira, and it becomes maybe like by half.
Yeah, but just talking subsidy, you see, the problem is that if government cannot even control its own, I don't know how possible it is to actually monitor these parks and see that they're actually delivering. Even money is handed down to them. Because this is not the first time. Last year, December, President Buhari also announced same for the train service. And of course, people who were operating the train in Ibadan brought out their own tickets. And they were selling. Where people wanted to go on free train service from Ibadan to Lagos, but they got to the park to enter the train station, and of course, those people who were attending there were selling tickets to them. So this is where I speak to the heart of people. The leaders may have good intention toward the public, but it's also important that the public or some Nigerians who are privileged also must reciprocate this gesture by way of also contributing and their own little quota to see that life is made more meaningful, stress is reduced for the fellow Nigeria, because we are all in it together. And if we drill ourselves this way, we can also take some money today and use it to do chicken and turkey in the season. And then, of course, like Blessing said, they generally become like 60 days.
All right, but let me ask this question, pardon my curiosity. Our job as journalists is to ask questions. Why was this announcement made by the Minister of Solid Minerals? Does it matter?
No, but I think...
I would have expected the Minister for Information.
No. You see, what has been happening, you just need to follow the trend that after every ESCO meeting, of course, you find that when the FEC meeting is held, some ministers are appointed or assigned by the Mr. President to go tell the public what was the outcome of the meeting. So it's expected that after this conversation, because they all aids to Mr. President, and he can actually send any of them to deliver the message. But also don't forget that that's the forte of Dele Alake, has been there over years, and there's no better person to tell a story that's sweet like this than such a veteran.
And he's also the chairman of the 6-man Inter-Ministerial Committee on Presidential Intervention, and this falls under their jurisdiction, so it has to be him.
Anyway, the messenger doesn't even matter.
He's the message.
It's the message, But the interesting thing is, the president is doing it to set the pace for people to have a change of mind. Where the problem or the challenge could be the implementation. And I think the president needs to engage them, or the task force, they need to engage the NURTW of these words, the transporters, to engage them so that this implementation can be done. Because the excuse is, my buses are not being bought by the government, are not being purchased by the government. They didn't buy, petrol or supply, make provision for petrol. So there could be that argument, but it's also important to engage them, the stakeholders, carry them along, let them be aware of this, not just to make announcement, but implementation, so that at least Nigerians could enjoy better season. And it's a welcome development.
Of course it is.
All right, let's move on to the advocacy being made by the House of Representatives, which is urging the federal government to issue exemption certificates to value-added tax and import duty to contractors overseeing critical power projects. Now, the advocacy from the House of Reps or the committee is that for contractors who are overseeing some power projects, that the issue of transformers and some projects or equipment that has to do with the power supply, that they should be granted VAT, it should be granted waiver. In recent times, it's like the federal government has been in the mood to grant waivers. And I'm concerned because what that implies is loss of revenue. And I remember too that the National Assembly had recent time, raised the questions about the way the federal government just grant, waivers. The last one was the one given on liquefied gas, which we can understand maybe to reduce the burden of Nigerians. But just granting waivers, for contractors who are supposed to, supply this equipment for power projects, including transformer and some other thing, for me, it might not be a priority. But let me have your view in this regard.
Every time I hear this waiver thing, it just gives me some concerns. And it seems that the Ricky actors in this issue seems not to actually understand what is on the ground. I watched a little TikTok video early this morning, and it was a kind of somebody who took a trip to both North Korea and South Korea. And he said he took the area view of South Korea and North Korea and also went on the street. And he saw that 78 years after, a nation that were one, but eventually, same language, same culture, broken into two. One side was darkness and the other side was light. So if you look from down, you see darkness on one side, and on this other side you see light. And then you see the kind of lifestyle in one side, and you see the other lifestyle of violence, and these people are happy. And even when these people are supposed to be protesting, you are seeing them singing, dancing, cheering. And that was one kind of an inspirational, video early this morning that I saw. And gives me a picture of a government that controls and a government that facilitates. So the conclusion this man made was the fact that, you see, in this other side where there is light, they have opened their doors to foreigners. They opened their doors to foreigners and allowed these interactions to happen. And then they are happier and better for it. They are richer. And you see plenty cars in their roads to symbolize riches. And this other one that is controlling, what do you see? You see poverty. There are no cars on the road. There's darkness everywhere because power outages is often now and then. Now, one is investing in warfare and the other one is investing in technology. And you can imagine that small South Korea produces Samsung. This is what we see when government allow businesses to run. I don't think it's waiver that is the issue with the power sector. The National Assembly should investigate that sector. We have been doing that investigation for God knows when. After the first 8 years of this dispensation, over 16 billion US dollars were committed to that sector. Not even in terms of waiver alone. And nothing came out. Who says that if you give waiver, that's what's going to make these people work? That is not the problem. This is even electricity that people want to pay for. Because electricity is business. So why do we need to give waivers to people who are supposed to be pursuing private business? What this means is that the people who are there have no capacity. Then open the door. Let people who have capacity from anywhere across the globe come and solve the problem of electricity for us. It will be better for us. Let's create that ecosystem for competition so that we are not giving monopoly to one people who are not willing to even invest in the sector, but they are only relying on government to give them waiver, and they give them waiver to bring in transformer. The waiver will translate into vehicle, it will translate into rice importation, and all manners of things. And I think this is not what we should encourage, and government should stop this waiver thing and let people who have money bring it into the economy and invest in this sector because it's critical. And if this investment is coming into the sector, then of course you will see that there will be a whole lot of activities around that place that generate employment, generate revenue for government, and then we'll have a better system. But as long as we are going to be relying on these people who have no capacity to grow this sector, and we are thinking that by giving them waiver that they are going to do miracle, I think we are just joking.
Let me begin with the issue of transformers, for instance. Transformers are bought by the users. They are paid, the installation are paid for by the users. So what benefit would the waiver be to the end users? It's no benefit. It just means that those who are the contractors will have more money for themselves if they're not paying taxes to the government and they charge the same. So what benefits? I don't think that they should even be, if waivers should be even given, I don't think that they should fall in that category at all of those who should benefit from waivers, because in no way we giving waiver to those contractors benefit the end users. It doesn't mean that you get more power. It doesn't mean you pay less for power. It doesn't mean the discos will charge you less because they're getting the equipment cheaper. And also even say that the discos or those who need the equipment will even get them cheaper. So at the end of the day, it doesn't benefit anybody but the contractors. So I think thinking in that direction should be discouraged.
All right. Well, we're on the same page. I agree with you on this. So, no argument. So the next story, you know, we're in the season of good news. You know, Christmas is almost here. So Dangote has given us another good news. The refinery has received another 1 million barrels of crude oil, another shipment of crude oil. You know, Dangote refinery is the largest single refinery in the world. And we're happy that this is coming from our own. The good news now is, of course, it's going to commercialize and even facilitate local production of crude oil rather than what we used to have. And we are hopeful this is going to be the game changer. Dr. Idauza, we're in the season of good news. Another one from Dangote, local production of crude oil. What will be the impact in months to come?
My only worry is that why are these things coming in tranches?
The crude?
Yes. Why? He needs about 6 million barrels to start production.
Yeah, but that can be supplied in a day or in a week. So it will take, it has to be in batches.
Yeah, but we have a quota, for example, to do 1.7 million barrels per day. If we produce 1 million barrels, and we are just saying, let's even feed Dangote refinery. We don't need to sell it to the international market now. Government can enter into an agreement with Shell and other people who are involved in this drilling and say, please, we are prioritizing this thing. Because it's a joint venture. And say, let's feed this refinery. We have been selling to the international community, those who are even buying to stock. Let's feed our own refinery. And let this crude be given to them. All that we are going to produce this week or this month, let's feed this refinery and let this operation start so that at least the suffering of the people can cease. So if the man has money to buy the crude, why are we giving it out in these tranches? We should allow the refinery to start operation.
Moving about 1 million barrels is not a joke. And so the logistics will also be part of it. Because
that is the exact thing I'm saying. If we are selling 1.5 million barrels daily, is it not the logistics that is carrying it to overseas? Is it not simpler if from Agbani to Lagos? What logistics are we talking about? Except that there's just undue bureaucracy within the system. And this, of course, had to be dismantled so that we are not expecting to have better prices or maybe cheaper petrol. But all we just need is that the petrol is there.
But that should be the ultimate goal for us for the price
that
to be
is
cheaper.
why, for me,
because that's the essence of refining it locally.
The NNPC should be able to work in sync with the people that are drilling this crude. Say, prioritize this refinery for us. because it's critical to us, especially this season. You imagine that if in the last 1 month or 2 weeks, that all that was produced was just given to this refinery, the 6 million barrel that they needed, we could have it. So these are issues that we need to deal with. That even if it's going to buy them on credit, let Nigerian government guarantee share petroleum, so that as the crude is refined, then they'll be paying back whatever thing that they sold. So I think for the good of the nation, because we have waited for this refinery for too long, and what seems to be delaying these things now is receiving crude. And what we are celebrating here is that last 2 weeks, they got 1 million barrel. This week, they got another 1 million barrel. We're just moving to 6 million barrel. Let's sell this thing. Saudi Arabia is selling 13 million barrel per day. UAE is doing 3.3 million barrel per day. Is it that the machine to draw this crude from the ground is the problem? So you see, these are for me the bureaucracy within the NNPC that needs to really be broken, so that Nigerians at least can breathe.
Yeah, we do hope that Nigerians will breathe in quick time, because imagine if in 2 weeks interval, that's when we have a million barrel supply. So if you multiply that, it may take another like 3 months.
Yeah.
3 months to get that 6 million barrels. So even if we're not giving everything to Dangote, if we have 1.7 million barrels per day, and for every day 700,000 barrels gets to Dangote, so that means in less time, in about 2 weeks, or at most 3 weeks, you'd have gotten the 6 million barrels, so that we'll know that the crude is there. We're waiting for the finished product. And then you talked about price, cheap price being also the goal. Yes, I do hope that it should be cheaper, because if importing petrol to the country, and then at the pump price we're getting about 590, 600, and a bit above that, depending on the location, then if it is produced within the country, that logistics is taken out of it, it should also reflect in the cost, even if it's just 10 naira that is taken off it.
It's not just logistics alone, and I think that's the point that many people make, especially in terms of pricing. Now, there are factors that will determine what the price of your product is. Now, don't forget that apart from your inputs, which is the raw material investment, there's also the personnel investment that comes with it. Now, in some of these countries where this thing is happening, they have ready manpower that they are not going to export or import manpower to do the refining. And that's why people have argued over time that if you calculate really the difference in terms of coming, because if you look at the logistic costs put on this petrol, people said, oh, it's just about 17 naira. Now, but if you look at now, the overhead on production, where it was reported some time ago that over 11,000 foreign and expatriates are in the service of this industry, that refinery. Now, what that means is that the cost of hosting one expatriate here can pay the salary very well paid people, 10 people here. So you see that you are gaining on the one side in terms of logistics, but there's also another addition that is coming in terms of cost. And this is where, of course, we really need to focus on in terms of our education. We have several petroleum training colleges. We even have a university of petroleum. We should be able to develop manpower, whether it's petroleum engineering, whether it's petroleum science, that locally here, we will have ready hands. And we don't need to import people to come and do job here when we have youths that are very, very active, vibrant, energetic, that all we need to do is to equip them with the requisite knowledge to deliver on some of all these things. Because that's where costs actually come from. See, because if you have to look at industry the way it works, and you are bringing a particular technology down, and the locals don't have the capacity to run that technology, then of course you have to bring in somebody to come and run it. Now the cost of bringing somebody to run it increases your cost of production. And that also will affect the price that you sell at the end of the day. So it's not just the crude that is a factor. There are so other factors that come in between that will make the cost not to be as competitive as people are thinking.
At least the little difference will be some relief when you multiply it.
Yeah. Okay, let's wrap up with this story regards the CBN governor, which he has emphasized the need for banks to recapitalize. You know, you remember at the CIBN dinner, he gave that hint that if there's a need for Nigeria to achieve the $1 trillion economy, the $1 trillion economy, there's a need for banks to recapitalize, and that in coming years, he's going to make it obvious. And so at this forum, the CBN governor sees this opportunity to also bring it to, to the stakeholders that for that to happen, it must be a priority in the coming year. I don't know if you agree with him.
Well, I think it's a priority, but also we also have to be wary of the way Nigerian business people do business. Where if you follow stock movement, just this week you saw about Udeco has become controlling shareholder with about 13.3% of the First Bank share. Huge investment in there. One person taking in this chunk and putting on these things because they're all already waiting to see how this process had to be done. But you see, this movement of cash by our wealthy people is a fear, really. Because you cannot actually be too sure of those funds, whether they're actually domiciled in the bank. That's my worry. So you can recapitalize on paper. You can recapitalize on paper. And this is where, of course,
of the CBN to ensure that that doesn't happen.
Yes, that is where, of course, the regulatory oversight of the CBN
yes, you can recapitalize
yes,
on
of course, to put hand down
money
to see that this money is actually domiciled in the CBN.
I don't even think that could happen.
No, it has been happening.
That would be a risk.
It does happen.
It has been happening.
Even on the stock market, it does happen. Not just with banks, but with companies where you are seeing on paper what is not actually on ground.
Maybe I'm not in Nigeria.
No, it does happen.
You don't need to be in Nigeria. It just is a global practice.
A misrepresentation of the health of the company or of the bank.
You know, but this is actually the bubble of 2008, which we are still trying to recover from, with even the best banks in the United States of America, that created that financial crisis was as a result of cooking books. So it's not today people have been cooking books. We had the case of Cadbury some years ago. Unilever. Even big corporations where you have people with controlling share in these places and all you have is just pieces of paper. These are documents, but these things are not there. And this is where, of course, the CBN need to put their feet down in terms of regulatory compliance to be sure that this money can be cited. Don't you see sometimes, once the month is coming to an end, you find very difficulty to access your fund?
So if the money is there, what's the problem?
You find difficulty because these banks are struggling to balance their books. You know, the last CBN government tried to see how we unify this so that, of course, everybody closed at the same time. Yet, this moving of funds is still going on because within them, it is like a cult.
Insider borrowings and
all. So I move money from
practices.
One bank, I move to another and use it to balance the book. Then I bring it back the following day. So these are the things that, of course, are happening within the industry. And this is where, of course, we need to emphasize regulatory compliance. Imagine that the last regime says banks should be able to ensure that depositor fund 60-40, 60% of the fund must be given out to the borrowing public. How many of the banks are complying? The real reason is that that fund is not there. It's only on paper. So CBN must put its feet on the ground. Because there are Nigerians who will be willing to buy offers, even if they are going to buy 100. That will encourage the bank to be very robust. You see, but what the big men are doing is that they take the controlling share of a bank and determine how the fund is distributed. So I move in fund here, I put it here, and then I become the shareholder. Tomorrow I can borrow it back and go and return to where I take it. And then, of course, those things are there. That's where I'm looking at that the CBN must put its feet down in terms of regulatory to be sure that if they said they are discapitalized, that money is actually there. And if that money is there, we must also know how they are using this money. How many of the customers are actually getting access to credit? And these are the things that the Mr. President has spoken about all through his campaign. That there is no way Nigeria can make any serious advance if we are not a credit economy. Because you cannot take 10 million, for example, and say you want to build a house or buy a house. It's impossible. Given the kind of salaries that are available within the system. Now, the only way to be able to compensate this is that you have a mortgage system where, of course, people are able to give you some money to spend for like a period of time to build a house or to buy a car or to even pay for school fees for your children. Now, this credit should come from the banks to the system. But as we speak now, the banks don't have credits. So they can't even give it out. And that's why you see there's so much tightening of the requirement of access to credit. And even when they are going to do mortgage, who does mortgage for 36 months? It's impossible. You can't do mortgage for 36 months.
It's too short a period.
So these are the real issue. It has to be 36 months because this fund is not there. If the fund is there, then you can do a mortgage 30 years, 10 years, 20 years. So this gives the society room to be able. Now, if we do this, and that's what Mr. President says, there will be less corruption in the system. Because if what you want, you can get it, you will not contemplate either stealing or robbing. But the bank needs to help the system to grow. But the kind of courtesan, let me use that word in quotes, that happens around that terrain, I think somebody needs to break it so that we can see how transparent the system really is and see how we can help use that system or the platform to grow the economy.
Instead of saying courtesan, maybe synergy or cover-up.
The
word court is used for anything that is secret that people cannot see.
Maybe we can leave it as short practices.
All right, well, the way to wrap up this news analysis, I must thank you for your intervention as usual. I know that there's need for banks to recapitalize, and let's see what will come out of that in the coming year. Thank you so much for your time and your submissions.
Oh, my pleasure to be here this morning.
Great.
And wishing you a very great day.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, it's time for us to look at our big story for today. And our big story has to do with the businesses that thrive during Christmas, during festive period. A lot of businesses will always, have high patronage. What are those businesses? These are things we're going to look at after this short break. Stay with us.
I'm okay.
My name is Raymond Bola Brown.
Hi, my name is Fred Amata, and you are on to Souq News.
If you are watching this channel for the first time, make sure you continue to watch it because this is Souq News.
Shout out to Souq News. Actually, I don't know. I really enjoyed the little moment I spent with you, and I think with more of this.
Souq News. Here's the Souq News who had the courage to transcend a locked off camera and actually have a conversation with a human being. It's a pleasure, Souq News. Thank you very much.
Good morning and welcome to Early Exchange with Blessing H.A., Femi Ayodele, Sam Oruwoje, and Idahosa Osamanze.
It's a national orientation agency. It's, as far as I'm concerned, very idle and unprofessional.
If government says that subsidy is not in oil and government is not supposed to be paying subsidy in oil,
energy or whatever kind of oil solution we will be looking at.
Today we are conducting mining today. Solid minerals, as an example, is, in no disrespect to anybody, is abysmal. We definitely need improvements in those areas. Of course, there are infrastructural needs.
This is Early Exchange, shaping policy, advancing development.
All right, glad to know you're still there with us. And for those who are joining us for the first time, you are here at the right time and at the right place. Our big story for today is to look at the businesses, that are highly patronized when it comes to the season. And one of them has to do with the transport sector. Transport businesses are booming around this period. That's what we want to look at. It's a necessity. A lot of people will travel for holidays, to visit their loved ones. Whether interstate or intrastate, it must surely happen. And don't forget, you can be part of this conversation wherever you are. You can share your view with us on our social media platforms, on our YouTube page. What is transport situation in your area? What's it looking like? The transport hike, the transport fare? Talk to us about it. Give us that information. Give us an account of what is happening in your location for us to have a proper view of what is going on at this season. To shed more light on this, we're being joined by a transport owner. We're being joined by Banga Etang, the MD, Akwa Ibom Royal City Transport Company. Glad to have you join us this morning.
Thank you so much for having me on the show.
Great, always our pleasure to be your host. Now, let's start with this development, or what will I call it, good news from the president. President announced 50% transport slash for road transport and zero cost for those who are going to travel or going to access the rail track or railway service. I'd like to have your quick reaction to this announcement from the president, the 50% slash on road transport. What's your take on this? Let's start with that.
It's a nice thing from the president. It actually shows that it's having an interest of the masses, at heart. Actually got this news, yesterday. Although I don't really know what are the procedures or the conditions, through which transport owners, is going to have access, to this very fund from the federal government. But it's a nice move. In fact, it actually is going to help to salvage, the plights of the masses, because as it is, in the country, things are really tough, for the people. So for federal government to come up with initiatives like this, it's something wonderful. It's good.
Okay. Now, since the intervention, according to Dele Alake, the federal government wants to intervene and ensures that travelers this season pays 50% of fares. How do you think it's going to be workable? You said you just got wind of the information. Now, I do not know if some form of subsidy is going to be provided, but given the nature of bus pass and all, what do you think will be the workability of this intervention?
What I'm going to do is, personally, I'm going to try to find out what are the conditions, as in the transport owners. How they're going to, partner with federal government on this, all right? I need to find it out. It's also now, I was actually out of town. I don't really have a clear information on how this is going to work. But I'm quite sure, in as much as the federal government has come out to announce this, I'm quite sure they're going to live up to their responsibilities by making sure that this is, effective and efficient. So it's going to be a part on our own as a transport owners, because it's a partnership. Try to see how this is going to work out, but I'm quite sure it's going to work out, because we've seen moves from the federal government, one or two things that are really trying to make things, work, for the masses. So it's going to be it's going to work. I believe so. It's going to work.
All right. The question is, the transport owners, how are they receiving these news? What's their quick reaction to this? And I would like you to talk to us. If this announcement is going to become a reality, what should be done on the part of the federal government and also on the part of the transport owners for these to be a reality or something to go by?
All right. It's going to be a sort of, collaboration, between the transport owners and federal government. So I'm quite sure, personally, as I've said, I will try to go in details, trying to know a certain body that is, in charge of this. Because I'm quite sure for government to come out and, pay a certain amount of money for people that is going to travel, of course, this is Nigeria. People could use this as an advantage, to do something stupid. So I'm quite sure federal government is going to use certain measures so that they know that they're actually, dealing with the right people, not people who are actually coming, to make the whole program up. So I'm quite sure the federal government has actually put a body that is going to see to it that they are dealing with the right people. Because it will really be bad at the end of the day, as transport owners, we begin to hear all manner of information that maybe people try to do some kind of, stupid dealings, and at the same time, maybe mess the whole program up. The whole thing will bounce back on the mass, not having, access to what, the federal government actually had in mind for them. So it's going to be painful if the masses will not receive the benefit of this, at the end of the day. So it's a thing that we transport owners, we're going to live up to expectations, partner with the right body that the government has put up, to oversee these very activities. If that is done, I'm quite sure the whole thing, will be okay. It will come outside.
All right, could you please give us an overview of the transport situation during this U-tide? What does it cost moving from some destinations? For instance, what does it cost to travel from Akwa Ibom to Lagos, or from Lagos to Akwa Ibom and some cities? And what do you think has influenced the current fare?
All right, at the moment, from Lagos to Akwa Ibom, all right, you can have, it's all about variety, right? You have some which is 25,000 or 26. You can have some, 30,000, even 35,000. It has to do with varieties, the kind of vehicle that you want, correct? Christmas season, it's filled with a lot of expectations, right, from we as transporters, because transport business is a seasonal business, for us. So this is a point or a period that, we make money. Of course, you know that so many businesses in Nigeria are actually they're running on facilities. So when it gets to a point like this, we have high expectations, in order to meet up, wherever that we have, been, involved in terms of, facility stuff. So, reading from, past events, it is as a result of the traffic that we have in the system that influences, the increment in the price. And what we've actually recorded, these few days is that maybe because of the state of the economy, we've not really seen, high patronage, in the business. And coupled with the fact that, like the eastern part of the country that we are actually, going through, because of, insecurity, people are not interested, in traveling, because it will not be fair if you travel and at the end of the day, your life is in danger. So people are trying to be careful before they move from point A, to point B. But what we've seen at the moment, the traffic is not like the way it used to be.
I must confess to you, I still don't get it, and I still don't understand it, why you always have this development around this period of festive seasons where you have hike in prices of transport. The services are in high demand. The higher the service, you will expect that should bring down the price, economically and, in an ideal way. Why do you have this development virtually every year, festive season, where people just feel it's necessary to hike the prices of transport fare. Should that be the ideal situation? Should that be the situation? Why do you keep having this? And what can be done to manage this?
In fact, I need to confess, right? Everybody, will believe that, running a successful business, in Nigeria, it's something else. I'm quite sure if federal government should really have the interest of the people at heart, there should be a kind of regulatory body that oversees, such an activities and to make sure that unnecessary, increment of price, in terms of transport fare has been, managed to a certain level because of the interest of the people. But I want to tell you, if as a business owner, you go out there, you source for fund, to finance your business, which at the end of the day, you return the money, at a very high interest. I'm sure you do everything possible to get the money so you can return it to the source. All right. If we should have a system that, allows us, as transport owners to have access to certain funds that will allow us to get vehicles, at the end of the day, it's going to bounce back on, the passengers, making sure that the price are well regulated because, the government is having an input for us to run the business effectively and efficiently. But if you don't have that, just imagine what is going to happen. You do everything possible to keep the business running. So that's it. That's it. I feel that, the federal government has not really done much on that very area by making sure that as transport owners, we have access, to funds that could allow us to have vehicles so that when people come, to need our services, the price will be regulated because, the federal government is having an input. So when such things do not happen, just imagine what is going to happen. So that is what is going on now.
Okay, you talked about the need for the business to thrive and continue thriving. But let me ask, the conditions that existed from January till this point with regards to the condition of the road and fuel price, has it changed?
Of course, we've witnessed, what happened.
Has the price of fuel
the
changed?
advent of,
Has the condition of the road changed?
Of course. Yes. All right. The removal of fuel subsidy, of course, it has actually affected us because we also need to increase, the money that we give, to our drivers, to move the vehicle from point A, to point B. All right. That is what increased. And looking at the road conditions, I'm telling you, the road condition is really affecting our vehicles. There's no way you move a vehicle from point A to point B. When you get to the destination, you're definitely going to fix one or two things. So all these things will really, bounce back on the passengers because, we need to, the price will be incorporated into their own, to their fare. So it will affect them. So both the road network and also, the fuel stuff, it has actually affected our business.
All right, talking about passengers, you have at least some passengers that have been loyal with transport companies all year long using that route. Isn't this the best time to give back to them, to reward customer loyalty? Shouldn't that be a factor considered when fixing fares?
Yes, I think it should be. Honestly speaking, as a transporter, it has always been my deepest desire that, I should be able to do one or two things for, to create an impact in the life of the masses. We've had, in the olden days, we had a bad situation that, students, go through a transport environment in as much as that he or she identifies that she, is a student. Such person will be given, a leverage, to travel at a subsidized price. But that has not, have been happening. And we've also had about, maybe like a clergyman going to certain environments, they should be able to travel at a subsidized price as well. But that's not happening. All right. I we do reward, our customers that has been sincere, that has been traveling with us, frequent. Of course, we know them. We also reward them, all right? It's a way of encouraging them that we really, appreciate their patronage. I What I think I'm going to do in the nearest future, because life is all about serving humanity. All right. I don't even believe that we should just be there in the business of, getting money from the people without, giving it back to them. And apart from that, as a transporter, we all have a calling. It depends on, what you feel the area of the calling. If God has called you to service, humanity, apart from getting money from them, you try to go extra mile by making sure that you actually, complement the effort of the government, because the government that didn't really doing a lot to make things happen. So if you understand that, you can complement the effort of the government, to make things, easier for the people. So it's not about money; it's all about, humanity. So our regular customer, yes, this is the time that we use to tell them thank you.
All right, now let's talk about business now. Talk to us some of the areas that are in high demand or could be of interest to investors looking to invest in this kind of business. I know you have the logistic arm of the business, the courier services and all that. But I want you to talk to us about the opportunities that are inherent in transport businesses in Nigeria.
Okay, transport business, it's a very, very lucrative business, because on a daily basis, I providing services, for the people moving goods and all that. There is no way, as a country, any environment, needs a transport, system, whatever form of transportation to move, for goods and services, of which, land transport, is one of them. So, because of the high demand that is needed in the environment, it makes it very, very lucrative. But at the same time, every business has to be protected, with sincerity and integrity. So the people that are there in the system, they should be able to live up to expectations by being very sincere in their services. Because any environment that the service is in high demand, you can see people hiding under the umbrella of such services, to make things uncomfortable for people. So I would say transport, business, of course, looking at it from history, has always been a very, very effective system. And up to today, it is time to be a lucrative, business that one can get through.
Talk to me about some of the new trends in the transportation business. For instance, in intracity transportation, we've seen cab hailing services thrive, and they've also taken advantage of technology. Do we have that replicated in interstate transportation?
Please come again. I don't get it.
Hello, Entan, can you hear me? All right, I'm asking to know the trend that we're seeing in intrastate transportation service, such as the use of technology where you can now book your ride online. You don't need to get to maybe a car park to do that. Do we have some of this trend replicated in interstate services? And what are the new trends that are ongoing in interstate transportation services?
Yes, we do. In fact, the advent of technology, has actually made things, very easier for people. All right, like the interstate, business. Of course, as a business owner, you want to make things, very easier for whosoever that needs your services, and you make sure that, one can book, at the comfort of their homes, right? So, if you don't go with the kind of things, definitely you'll be left behind. Yes, it's really working for us, right? It's working for us.
All right, let's look at some of the challenges being faced by transport owners, most importantly at this season. What are some of the challenges, the constraints that you have? I would also like to share with us your experience in the area of security. What are your experiences in this regard?
I think that the federal government has really done a great job, right? If you travel on the road, you discover that at each interval, the federal government has really been able to put security agencies, in order to make sure that the road is safe for us, all right? And with the presence of all these security agencies, it makes me, even as a driver or even as a passenger, to be relaxed, knowing that, the security situation has been taken care of. So what the federal government has done this time by making sure that the security agencies they are available at each interval, it's a very nice and a wonderful thing they've done on their own part. And apart from this very festive period, I really want them to keep it up. Want them to keep it up. It's going to be it's an assurance that our road will be safe again. For one to go on. Unlike before, you'll be traveling and you'll be panicking. All right. But what we have seen, these 2 days, it's nice, right? The security situation is okay.
All right, what about traffic management this season, both for intra-city movement and interstate movement? How is it like? You earlier mentioned that the roads, some roads are not in very good condition, which could mean that you would have a gridlock in some roads. So how's the traffic management going, and what would you prescribe?
Okay, I personally, I traveled, some 2 days ago, by road. I think the traffic situation is a manageable one. All right. The only places that you could find maybe a gridlock could be maybe as a result of a broken down, vehicles. But I think what I saw, there's always been a quick intervention by the road safety. All right. And when something happens, they quickly go to the scene, begin to control the traffic, and it makes it easier. So the traffic situation, all right, it's a manageable one. It's okay. The agencies that are in charge, they're doing a great job, and I really wish that they should keep it up.
All right, it's time for us to take a breather now. It's time for us to go on a short break. When we return, our conversation with our guest analyst will kick off. Stay with us.
My name is Olatunji Shoti. I'm a performing artist and, television radio presenter and a university lecturer, Unilag. Keep watching Souq News.
Hello everyone, my name is Kenny Black, Africa's finest music comedian, and you're watching Souq News. If you're not watching Souq News, I pity you, but keep watching Souq News.
Hello everyone, my name is Timidakolo, and you're watching Souq News. Stay tuned.
Hi, my name is Wisdom Oluwaseun Okoko, co-founder Orbit Africa Properties. I'm live at Souq News. Guys, keep watching Souq News. For everything that concerns business, economy, politics, news, Souq News is your station.
Jalara Repega.
I'm Reverend Juliet Benite.
I'm Godio Didi.
My name is Professor Oladokun Sulaiman Olarawaju.
Souq News is on the ground, loading.
Very enlightening, very educative, and entertaining.
Thank you to Souq News.
So I'm happy that Souq TV has come into existence.
I'm happy to be here in the Souq News.
I want to encourage you to subscribe to the channel and keep watching news that makes sense.
As Browning said, one's extension of one's reach should not exceed one's grasp, or what is heaven for. And I think Souq News is doing that.
Africa needs a voice of truth, and Souq News has become one of them. And get ready, get ready, get ready.
And keep watching.
Keep watching Souq News.
Keep watching Souq News. It's a place to be.
Keep watching.
Idumota Market, Eko Idumota, Once a residential neighborhood to Idumota Market located on Lagos Island, it is one of the oldest and arguably one of the largest markets in West Africa. Idumota is a historic neighborhood adjacent to the Lagos port that facilitated the slave trade and later, under the British indirect rule, it surrounded to exports that fueled the colonial enterprise. Idumota was also the location of an armed forces remembrance cenotaph called Soja Idumota, built as a monument to Nigerian soldiers who served with the West African Frontier Force. An Eyo Masquerade statue and a clock tower are also some monuments at Idumota. Idumota Market is so popular that large sales are recorded as early as 7 a.m. The market is made up of hundreds of locked-up shops occupying several multi-story buildings, with some measuring about 5 or more floors. In 2010, the Lagos State government demolished some illegal structures in order to improve vehicular and human movement in and around the markets. During weekdays, the neighborhood of Idumota is densely populated by shoppers, traders, and bus passengers. From the Carter Bridge ascending into Lagos Island, passengers can see the neighborhood before disembarking at their final destination. Idumota Market accommodates the substantial inflow of imported goods. The bulk of import from abroad are routed first through Idumota and then on to other markets through Nigeria and other West and Central African countries. The energy of private Idumota traders and wholesalers facilitate this activity, where millions of US dollars worth of wholesale is exchanged daily. Idumota Market, Souq Enlightenment. Morning and welcome to Early Exchange with Blessing Ache, Femi Ayodele, Sam Oruoje, and Idahosa Osamanze.
It's a national orientation agency. It's, as far as I'm concerned, very ideal and unprofessional.
If government says that subsidy is not in oil and government is not supposed to be paying subsidy in oil,
energy or whatever kind of oil-free solution we will be looking at.
Today we are conducting mining today. Solid minerals, as an example, is, in no disrespect to anybody, it's abysmal. We definitely need improvements in those areas. Of course, there are infrastructural needs.
This is Early Exchange, shaping policy, advancing development.
No doubt you're having a wonderful time with us in Early Exchange this morning as we look at businesses that thrive during the UTAD. I asked earlier that you need to stick around for the entire length of the show because your business just might be looked into and you find ways, creative ways you can really take advantage of the season. Again, not the people, but the season. And so far, we've been looking at the transportation business and we've been talking with Ibanga Nse Etang, who is the MD of Akwa Royal Transport Company. Stay with us and we proceed further on the discussion. Thank you very much for staying with us, Ibanga.
Thank you so much.
For this planned intervention that the federal government has to subsidize transportation fares, now how do you think is going to benefit the transportation lines, not just this period, but even towards the new year?
All right. It's going to help you in such a way that in as much as federal government has recognized that there is a problem, because it's one thing to recognize there's a problem and how to fix that problem. So for the fact that they've recognized that there's a problem, that the people need help, and they are actually coming in such direction, it is a plus, for the people. And as for me, I don't just believe that this should be a seasonal stuff. If the federal government can bring out policies that will make this very program a sustainable one. And, to make sure that there is a regulatory body to make sure that, unnecessary increment of price, to transport, goods and services are being dealt with. That, to some extent, will stabilize the mind of the people, knowing that if they have a projection or a budget, okay, I'm going to move from point A to point B, and the price to do that is a stable one. It will allow them, to plan about other areas of their lives. So I want this, to be sustainable because the mass, will really, will be the one to benefit much from this. Because the purpose of, the government, to serve is actually to take care of the masses with policies that will take care of their needs. I think that will make them to be proud of the fact that they have a government that is having them at their heart.
All right, a few months ago when subsidy was removed, the federal government gave an indication to give palliatives, even rolled out some palliatives. As transport owner, I would like you to confirm to us if you receive any form of palliative, whether from your state government or from the federal government.
During that period, I've been constantly getting in touch, with people in my hometown. In fact, I need to say that my father is actually, the village head, in my village. The information I got was really wonderful. They told me that the palliative that the federal government sent was, were being received, by them, and they were being shared, accordingly, and the people were so much happy about it. And getting to get that kind of information, I was happy. I was happy. I never knew that, federal government, could take things so serious to make sure that things, get to the interior part of the country. What they did was really wonderful. It was a nightmare.
Okay, this is the season where people do not just travel by themselves, but they go along with many things. Gifts for their loved ones they're going to visit, and some things that they would need. The issue of overloading. What should be done to ensure that the passenger's comfort and even safety is ensured in that regard? What are you doing as a transport owners? What do you recommend that other transport owners do in this regard? Overloading.
Okay, what we do as transport owners is that already we know that the increment of the price fare is really telling on people. So it will be unfair if you keep on milking them. So what we do, if the capacity of a vehicle is like 15 passengers, we load 13. Keep, the other extra spaces, for excess luggages. That is what, we do most of the transport owners. Because by the time that you've collected so much, from them on the transport fare, and you still go ahead, begin to demand so much from them in terms of their luggage. Of course, we are all human beings, so it will be unfair. And that's why we've made provisions to make sure that we don't completely use all the seats there. We can load 13, make use of the other 2 seats, to put their luggage. That's what we do.
Still on the issue of safety, talk to us. What are some of the critical steps that are being taken by your management and some of your colleagues in the industry to ensure they prioritize the safety of passengers, and that at this season where you have high demands, the issue of safety is not compromised? What are these practical steps that you've taken to ensure that the issue of safety is not compromised?
Okay, what we do as a company is that from time to time, we organize workshops, for our drivers. When you give out a certain information, and the driver has been able to internalize this very information, it makes it part of it. Because what you constantly, feed your mind with, over time, your body begin to take instruction from what you've been feeding your mind with. So what we're doing, we constantly, I organize workshops, for them, a means of, educating them, making them to understand that, safety is the number one core values of every, transport owner. Because even as a driver, if you had paid, to instructions and the rules, it actually prolong your life. It actually keep you alive. So it's not just about the passengers, but it's about even the life of the driver. Because as a driver, you have a whole lot of people that are depending on you. You shouldn't just put your life at risk because that is going to tell on the life of the people that are depending on you. So we educate them from time to time for them to be safety conscious.
Let's do some comparison in terms of patronage. At this time last year or even previous years, the patronage that you find right now, is it more, is it the same or less than previous years?
It is less. It is less compared to previous years. What we discovered is that unlike before, people would just travel because for leisure and all that. But now people travel when there is need to do so. And because they discovered that for them to travel to and fro, that is going to cost them a lot. So what they do, what we notice, some of them, they just put whatsoever they want to go and give their loved ones, they put it together and send it to them. Yeah, the patronage is really low. That's what we've noticed.
I would like to know your approach to maintenance of vehicles. This is very critical to safety. What kind of routine or what kind of mechanism have you put in place that this is done regularly to ensure that safety is not compromised? And then I would like to know the issue of forest. Is it having any impact on your businesses, especially sourcing for spare parts and every other resources needed for you to stay in business?
Yes, I need to start, with the maintenance, before we get to that of forest. I as a business owner, one of the things that keeps, transport business, going, it's for you to be, up and doing in terms of maintenance. If you have a vehicle that constantly, breaks down, on the road, it tells on much. It tells much on the transport owner because the time will come that the people that are patronizing you would not trust you any longer. And if that happens, of course, that you're going to lose customers because every one person that travels with you, in one way or the other, has a way of passing information to 10 people. So if that keeps on happening for a longer period of time, just imagine what is going to happen to you. So there are certain maintenance that is done, either weekly, or whatever. Because at the company, we have standby, engineers that are there in the company. Even while the driver is coming on the way, it is the duty of the driver to notice one or two things. In fact, I need to tell you, before any vehicle breaks down on the road, that vehicle should communicate the driver. So if the driver, notice anything, he should be able to call the company, immediately. If such complaints, would demand an immediate, intervention by sending another vehicle, to transload those passengers, we do. If it is something that the driver can manage and get to the destination, as soon as he gets there, those things are being fixed. We also do the same thing as well. So the issue of forest, I'm telling you, the prices of parts, it's really on the high side, and that still has a way of affecting our customers, because if you spend a lot of money in buying parts, then at the end of the day, to cope with such situations, that needs to affect the price of the transport fare. So the price of motor parts, it really is really on the increase.
Okay, quickly, let me ask. Time, they say, is money. So how long does it take now to get to a particular destination? As the time become more, and does that in any way impact on the frequency of travels that can be made within a period of time? How does it impact also your revenue? For instance, traveling from Akwa Ibom to Lagos, and using that because that's the route that majorly you run, Akwa Ibom to Lagos or Lagos to Akwa Ibom. How long does it take before this U-tide, as the time increased, does that reduce the frequency of travels within the time, and is it impacting your revenue?
Yes. The normal time, to move from 5 rooms, to Lagos. Should be like 9 hours. But as you are traveling along the path, you should be sensitive, to the environment. There are situations that you get a certain destination because of the security tips that the law enforcement has gotten concerning such an environment. They could tell all vehicles that are accessing such routes, to stop until they get, further directed to make sure that the road is free. So the situation in the country, it has affected all around. It makes us, we don't take to, the destination as being protected, and because of that, our revenue as well, has been affected because, just like I just said, time is money. All right. So everything is not like the way it used to be. But we give God the glory because everything is for good. Thank you.
All right, at this point, we need to let you go now. Know that you've given us an overview of how transport businesses have been thriving at this time. And we must thank you for your time and for spending time with us on NXT this morning.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you.
All right, we're still talking about transport business, and this time around we want to look at all the businesses that are thriving at this season. What are all those businesses? Talk about food, talk about gift items. These are things we're going to look at after this short break. Stay with us.
I'm okay.
My name is Raymond Bola Brown.
Hi, my name is Fred Amata, and you're on to Souq News.
If you are watching this channel for the first time, make sure you continue to watch it, because this is Souq News.
Shout out to Souq News. Actually, I don't know. I really enjoyed the little moment I spent with you, and I think with more of this.
Souq News. Here's the Souq News, who had the courage to transcend a locked-off camera and actually have a conversation with a human being. It's a pleasure, Souq News. Thank you very much.
My name is Dr. Rafiu Oladipo.
My name is Baba Jalal Repega.
I'm Reverend Juliet Benite.
I'm Godio Didi.
My name is Professor Oladokun Sulaiman Olarawaju.
Souq News is on the ground, loading.
Very enlightening, very educative, and entertaining.
Thank you to Souq News. So I'm happy that Souq TV has come into existence.
I'm happy to be here in the Souq News.
I want to encourage you to subscribe to the channel and keep watching news that makes sense.
As Browning said, one's extension of one's reach should not exceed one's grasp, or what is heaven for. And I think Souq News is doing that.
Africa needs a voice of truth, and Souq News has become one of them. And get ready, get ready, get ready.
Watching.
Good morning and welcome to Early Exchange with Blessing Aiche, Femi Ayodele, Sam Oruoje, and Idahosa Osamanze.
It's a national orientation agency. It's, as far as I'm concerned, very idle and unprofessional.
Government says that subsidy is not in oil, and government is not supposed to be paying subsidy in oil.
Energy or whatever kind of oil-based solution we will be looking at.
Today we are conducting mining today. Solid minerals, as an example, is, in no disrespect to anybody, is abysmal. We definitely need improvements in those areas. Of course, there are infrastructural needs.
This is Early Exchange, shaping policy, advancing development.
Many thanks for being with us on Early Exchange. Yes, Esther counts down serious to Christmas, because if you check your calendar, today is the 21st of December 2023. So that means just 4 days away from the big day, which is Christmas. And lots of persons are thinking, oh, I want to travel, but what do I go with to my loved ones so I can get a very warm embrace? What do I give to those who've been part of my life all through the year, who've contributed significantly to my life all through the year? Or you have that boss that's been very supportive of you, and you say, how do I say thank you for being such a wonderful boss all through the year, or even your staff. They've been excellent, ensuring that you move from where you started to a new level that you are in this year. How do you say thank you to them this year? Well, we have someone who is not just a broadcaster, because you're at Souq News, she's a newscaster, she's a reporter, she's a producer, and she's also our in-house analyst. She's also an entertainer. Did you know that about Grace Kumalafe? Thank you for joining us on set this morning.
Thank you so much. That's so much, coming together.
Yeah, she's also a caterer.
No, you are the Yalaji of Souq News.
Oh my goodness.
Really? So her profile is so huge.
Oh yeah.
Merry Christmas to you, Grace.
Yes, and I wish you the same.
Thank you very much. I hope I will get food. You will sing a song dedicated to me.
Okay.
For Christmas.
Okay, I'll do so.
Okay, so talking about gifts this season.
Okay.
Can you share with us some gift ideas?
Oh, well, because it's celebration time and obviously lots of gifts will be flying around. But let's look at what you think people will be needing at this period. Because for me, gifting should actually address a need. You don't just gift because you want to give, right? For me, I think it should address a need. And this is a period where you go to homes, you see people preparing different dishes, and maybe the next door neighbor doesn't have. And if you have those kids that they nose around, you see them peeping out because of the aromas and all of that. So I will start with food items. If you ask me, you have someone very close to you, I think you should look inward, look at that person's need. So take it from food items. You have bags of rice, vegetable oils, seasoning, all of that will take care of the cooking for Christmas, so your pot of soup will be full. That to start with. Then again, you can look at a better way to appreciate some other persons coming to this level where you think, I can't really buy you food, I can give you food materials, but I want to give you something. Then you look at a special card, you write those special sweet words, probably maybe from a staff to the boss. So write something special, sweet, and present to him or her. I believe they will appreciate it. Also, I think we can look at provisions. Yes, people, we've actually stressed from the beginning to the end of the year.
So refresh yourself.
So set up provisions. You have all of the different brands, put them together in, how do you call this now? Hamper, and you gift it. I mean, a lot of them. This is not the period. Parents, let me talk to parents. This is not a period where you gift
talk to my mom.
This is not a parent when you gift your kids books. They've been reading from January to December, and you feel, oh, you did well in school this year, and I have something for you. You go and buy that Macmillan textbook or huge dictionary, and you say, take, so it will help you for next year. No, daddy. No, mommy. I want something nice. So, I mean, probably their phones are not so good, or you think they need a change their phones.
It could even be toy.
It could be toy for those more younger ones, It could be, clothes, beautiful dress for the ladies, the young girls, shirts and trousers for the guys, and all of that. I think with that, everybody will be happy.
Let me speak for people who are in my constituency. Let me speak for the men.
Okay.
Because when it comes to gift items, men, it's always, we have that challenge where we don't even know what we want. Now, guide us or guide me or guide people who are in position to okay, I need to give something to the men in my lives. When I mean that, don't go too far. The men, it could be my brothers, my fathers, my uncles. For the men, the kind of gifts that you think could resonate with men.
Okay, so it's okay you bring in it from this angle. So I'll just take you to a bit of history. Biblically, gifts, actually, I think it has to do, it's symbolic, having to do with the 3 wise men gifting that little baby, the newborn, with gifts. But you know what they gifted him, right? Probably incense and all of that. Do you want that? Okay, because it's the birth of Christ, that's what we're celebrating. Anyways, that's on a lighter mood. So for guys, shoes. Yeah. Cufflinks.
I already see Femi nodding.
That goes with me.
Really. Cufflinks, ties,
You read my mind.
You get it? I mean, something that will just make them complete. And when the man is kitted, you're like, oh, this looks good. You know, you blow the person a kiss. So I think men, you don't have so much of, for food, the woman will definitely cook. You get it? Provisions, the women are in charge. So I think something special for men it has to do with what they put on. Shoes, clothes, cufflinks, ties, and all of that. If you are the type that do face cap a lot, I think you can do that as well. Okay, a lot of guys like to do this EOPP or, you know, just want to show. So you can do AirPod and all of that. You know, I don't see a lot of ladies using AirPod. You get it? So probably we can add that to the list for guys.
Okay, some phone accessories.
Yes.
So what about for the ladies? I think you want to start with bone straight, like
oh my goodness,
inches, 25 inches bone straight.
Oh no! So I mean, that's fine if that's what you want. Hey, she needs. Should I say it?
Please, let's go. Feel free.
So 25 inches or...
We could manage 25.
She said she could manage 25
yes,
inches bone
straight. Gift,
please, I will send you the address. This is Souq News on Marina. Yes, please, you can deliver one to her. Yes.
I'll talk to my accountant.
Oh, really?
I can take you up with that, you know.
Okay, so really for ladies, a lot will love, you know, accessories, jewelries, you know, what's it called? Wristwatches, bangles, shoes, the inner wears, beautiful ones, you know.
Okay, that's for people who have intimate partners.
Yes,
your wife,
yes, I'm even
spouse.
coming to that, you know. Yes, yes, definitely for partners. I mean, you can't just give me such a gift and I'll begin to ask you questions. So why go that, you know, deep? So, you know, like I said, clothes, and then for those that like to party, beach, and all of that, and again, it has to do with intimate partners, you know, gifting her your beach wears and all of that. So also coming to intimate partners, probably this is the time for you to make that special proposal as a gift.
A ring like me, not to make anyone lot of the rings.
Yes, no, not at all. You know, I think this is the right time to make that special proposal. And of course, that woman have been so hardworking, supporting the home, giving everything, every support she can. This is the time to buy her that car she's been longing for, you know, that beautiful car. This is the time to buy her that piece of land she's been asking for, and even buy her a house.
Okay. What about clients who have been patronizing your business all the year? How do you say thank you to your customers? How do you say thank you to your clients? What kind of gifts or souvenir can businesses give out at the season?
Okay, so this is can be a bit dicey, because you really need to check out for
even
the kind
staff
of
too.
Yes, you need to check out for the kind of client and also the kind of business you do. Somehow, as a gift for us, we can give a free airtime. You know, like have you bring your show to us and we give it for free. It's a gift. Do you get it? So, and of course, for some, you can decide to do a refrigerator, depending on the nature of business or the clients. You know, you can't just gift anything. You really need to, you know, look at it. So, and again, you can also do cards. It doesn't matter. Some people appreciate this, you know, few words you just put in the paper, they see it forever. You know, there are some gifts you give to some individuals, they don't even use it. They also give it out. But such as greeting card, you have it at the corner of your house, you know, somewhere there, and you want to pick it up anytime and say, oh, this person gave me this, you know, and that will also enhance the relationship, strengthen the business relationship. So I don't know, refrigerator is fine. Just package some nice item put together, it's okay. And it's not a bad deal if you also do wares. It depends on the way you package it. I mean, that can fly.
Okay,
I must confess, you don't take for this.
So for businesses that usually don't sell gift items or sell a little bit of the gift items, what do you see this season for them as? What is your word to them? How can they take advantage of the season? Because you just mentioned different gift items. So the person may be thinking, where do I get this? How do I get this? What is your advice to businesses that deal on gift items?
Oh, this is a good time for them to cash out. If you ask me, that is if you're very strategic. Package them, be creative. Don't just leave everything scattered. And, you know, the idea is you know, when you bring 2-3 things put together, the way you package it will help someone to think differently. You know, the way it looks. You understand what I'm saying? Okay, I have like I went to the market, the Lagos market, a few days ago, and I saw a different package. This is actually different from what I've been seeing, and I was like, wow. So when I asked, they said this is 55K. I said, okay. So the items in that package completely different. So I just want to say that to every business owners out there, especially those that deals with gift items, be creative with your packaging, because I was just passing by. If I had not seen that package, I wouldn't even think of going to even price, let alone thinking to buy it for someone. So by and large, be creative. Know how you can arrange your items, you know, that will attract people. Take advantage of this season. Yeah, take advantage of it. That's it.
Know that you are living up to your name, Iyalaje. This is Souq. We must thank you very much for your contribution, giving us an idea. In fact, now I have an idea of what to give my friends, my parents, my children.
And don't forget to load her accounts with money.
And also to blessing as well.
Okay. Yes. I was waiting for that.
I also added to the list. All right, thank you very much for your time. We're grateful. All right, we'll go on a short break. We're still looking at businesses that thrive during the festive period, and one of them has to do with food business. We're going to look at that after this short break. Stay with us.
The National Theatre, Igomu, built during the military regime of Olusegun Obasanjo and finished in the time for the Second World Festival of Black Arts and Culture, Souq, in 1977. The theatre holds amazing treasures and memories. The artworks fill everyone with pride. The National Arts Theatre is visible from the motorway which connects Lagos Island and the mainland. The National Theatre is packed with the artworks of a legendary contemporary Nigerian artist, stained glass walls by Yusuf Grillo, sculptures and murals by Lamidi Fakeye, Erabo Emopai, and many others. It was put to full use for a month as one of the 4 venues of the Second World Black and African Festival of Arts and Culture, tagged Souq 77. The complex hosted 16,000 participants from 56 African countries and the diaspora in an unprecedented showcase of African music, fine art, literature, drama, dance, and religion. The National Art Theatre was built and designed by Techno Expert Stroll, a Bulgarian company mirroring the Palace of Culture and Sports in Varna, Bulgaria. Completed in 1976, the building is one of the largest and most beautiful of its kind on the African continent. It consists of a central hall with 5,000 seats, a collapsible stage that can be quickly rebuilt, a conference hall with 1,600 seats, 2 large exhibition halls, and 2 cinemas with 800 seats each. The theatre complex has a dressing room for artists, a garage, offices, coffee bars, and a buffet. It has indoor TV and radio systems, as well as booths with facilities for simultaneous translation of languages and hectares of large green lawn around. The majestic structure sits in Igomu like a quiet mountain, mesmerizing visitors and passers-by. The National Theatre, Souq Enlightenment.
I'm okay.
My name is Raymond Bola Brown.
Hi, my name is Fred Amata, and you are on to Souq News.
If you are watching this channel for the first time, make sure you continue to watch it, because this is Souq News.
Shout out to Souq News. Actually, I don't know. I really enjoyed the little moment I spent with you, and I think with more of this.
Souq News. Here's the Souq News, who had the courage to transcend a locked off camera and actually have a conversation with a human being. It's a pleasure, Souq News. Thank you very much.
Good morning and welcome to Early Exchange with Blessing Eiche, Femi Ayodele, Sam
is, as far as I'm concerned, very idle and unprofessional.
The government says that subsidy is not in oil, and government is not supposed to be paying subsidy in oil.
Energy or whatever kind of off-grid solution we will be looking at.
Today we are conducting mining today. Solid minerals, as an example, is, in no disrespect to anybody, it's a bismarck. We definitely need improvements in those areas. Of course, there are infrastructural needs.
This is early exchange, shaping policy, advancing development.
Yes, indeed, our obligation is to shape policy and advance development with our conversation, and that's why today we're looking at businesses that thrive around this season, around this period, and one of them has to do with food business. You agree with me that when it comes to celebration, you can't do without food. It's a necessity and it's very essential, and it's providing job opportunities and businesses for people. To help us drive this discussion, we have a special guest with us. He's a man of many parts. You know, he's the CEO of Paul and Paul Foods. We have the privilege of hosting Reverend Paul Freeman. Glad to have you join us on an exchange.
Thank you very much.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Exchange.
That's you.
I know you're a man of many parts. You know, you're a reverend into logistics and a lot of things, but now I want to talk about food, you know, which has to do with one of the businesses that thrive around this season. We'd like you to give us an overview, the performance of that business in the last few weeks, you know, now that we have few days to Christmas. What has been the situation before now, and then what has been the level of patronage now that, you know, Christmas is about 4 days to come, you know. So what has been the state of this business before now and now that Christmas is almost here?
That's a good question. Is food, a man live without no food? A man cannot live. After God created the world, He prepared a lot of things for us, and that will sustain every man. Secondly, in home, families, everything, we're all based on food before we can survive to move outside. And by and large, food business also is a good venture. Some of us will learn from our great-mothers who are more interested, because when we were born, we found out they are giving us food to eat. So be it that when we consistently be on food, food is the energy to every mankind. Now, but we have to extend the food business to a business entrepreneur so that we can channel it to a lot of people to get involved. Now, when you look at one way or another, we have a lot of children in the streets, the after school lady, they are not got job, everything, job creativity are not there. But when some people will go to vocational training institute to be food, but there is no job. Now we also have to come into the way that I have to bring something good to the site. We learn from XY. So through that, we open the food business. Actually, I'm not a caterer. Well, I learned from my mother. Likewise, my wife is an accountant. She also learned from my 1 or 2 experiences which I had. She comply with it, and therefore we use the technical know-how to study more. And then we found out that there is nothing business as well you can cope with, can channel to this. In Lagos, in first place, and I can say time, years, before you can see food to buy, it's very difficult. You queue, and the population was limited, so we can't call about it. And it was a peanut, it's not by a big money as well. So we started it from XY, where we found some people are using a vehicle and started making some donut, meat pies, some other things. Especially the place you can see from this island, you can see from Martin Street, people have been in the market area where before they can establish that kind of business. And they go around to see how people can afford it. Probably we found out that the people have been interested in it, so we come to the same goal. When we start that same goal, we started with just only a canopy it's not by making things. We put a canopy in the system. Then we started with a little by donut, meat pies, some other things, sausage roll. Then we sell it for school children, exactly. There were school children from within my vicinity. I make sure we give them. And every morning, those who are in the primary schools, I make sure before by 5:30 or 6 a.m., something will be done. Then I will sell for them 10 naira, 10 kobo, whatever it is. That's the way we does it. And then we got a lot of children today. They are all mature. They have grandchildren, rather. It's a long time, I've said this. That time money was huge. If you wait 10 naira, it is money. 1 naira is money. And that was normally we started with. Okay. Now we found ourselves, we are in the community where people are living in the isolated area, like a Lekki, or Lekki was not reformed that time. I would say that Lekki was not reformed at all. We can talk about Ikoyi, Victoria Land, there's no Lekki, there's no anyone we call Banana Island, what it's called. So when we started this in the island, we found that the people of Victoria Land have enough of this kind of food ventures, and they will go to the high side. Then we started for the children who are in the community, so that we feel ourselves that let us build them also to have the same taste which others have. That is the main part. So we use that mandate to start it with.
Okay, and then to spread to other parts. All right, as it is now for food business, it has gone beyond one location. Somebody can be in Ikoyi, for instance, and order for food from the mainland, and it gets to the person. We've seen different delivery apps coming in to be like the bridge between the person who needs the food and the food vendor themselves. Now, at a season like Christmas, how is that business receiving patronage? How much of activity is going around food vendors and the demand for food?
I would think for Christmas, I can say that I'm a champion. No matter what, you can open big business in extra. I would say I'm a champion to that because I located by where the children was. And moreover, maybe you will experience it very soon when the Christmas time. If you come there to where the place was, you can get a place to pass. Children, adults who boom in, and then they were normally, because we started with so many things, cover the children a lot. Our rate was still not exorbitant, so people cannot affordable. And moreover, too, when you left the area you are, that way you killed the business as well, because the people out there are supposed to be part of the system of today. Now, some of them who graduated from there, they become a man, they are now in outside, they still locate to that place. And moreover, too, when we started this, there is no hotel in my place. Today, a lot of hotels are there, people are coming in daily and day out. But I want to show you, for Christmas alone or any occasion, please count on Paul and Paul. Because you are going to witness something very soon.
Okay.
All right.
And you will feel it.
I hope our commercial department won't charge you for that. Okay. But let's look at the issue of food business. What would you expect of food vendors around this period, who are providing these services, to do to ensure that they become more competitive and then they open up more opportunities for people to actually patronize them?
Today, we say money rules the world, but at the same time, I say nothing. It covered a lot. People get into the business where they are not experienced. When you look at it, I will give you some few years back. Some people started for free. Some are records today. They can't cope with it because the idea of payment of the staff is the most important. And the way they were treating staff doesn't work to that. If you are to be accommodated people like your own, and then if someone is your staff, treat him very nicely. Then you have to know his values, and at the same time you might know his predicament, how he feels and everything, and make sure you give him what is desired. Because food business is risk. Someone can be able to have a different mindset against you. maybe you are not treating very well. And at the same time, your business will not move well in the society, because more or less you are supervision while they were in the field of this thing. Anything can change. It happens some of the food vendors around, because the way they treated the people that not be able to cope with the taste they were expecting. Now, personally, the way we are doing, we are having a Chinese issue, a Chinese type of fried rice we do and some other things. And then we'll study something like Ghana jollof rice. That's what we are putting in place. And moreover, too, the way we are doing our chicken, whatever, we have a little something we didn't expose to people. That is number one. People wanted to know more, but we don't want to, because it's our privacy, so that's how it is. Now, but if we treated most of your staff very well, your business will move on. And the taste you have, every day you must taste that taste first before you go out. Some along the line, we are not going out after, because we don't want the situation, the hurry or whatever, they have a pressure on them and they do something which are not tasting. It will be jeopardize the business, they put the business away. So that is the main fact, that mostly somebody has to be there to supervision on the business. Because if you have a full business and you are not there, I beg your pardon, you lose everything. And food is the most important factor, because it's reached in such a way that some people will eat your food, tomorrow they have a lot of things to think about it, and that will not jeopardize your business. So that is not the main thing. Business in question in food, it's a good channel, because we watch a lot of movies concerning food business. And in Colombia, there's an old man who have a recipe. That recipe taught only granddaughter alone. And the daughter-in-law took the company. They tried to kill the owner of the business. And then they started having contract with outside world. When they started doing it, they are seeing business. But at the same time, the takes changed. Now, they drove the granddaughter out of his own premises. So he took him away for far place. Now, in nutshell, what happened is that now that business, who are people who are now patronizing that business, people have joined their business into share capital, they found out the thing was the tax is not real. So they started to go out to find how could you get it. And this woman was able to fight that granddaughter, because you put in the poverty issue that he had not come closer to them. And she knows the secret behind the grandfather. Before you can mix their recipe, they have to climb a ladder, climb up, and you mix it. So the grandfather taught only that lady alone. Now the business collapsed, then the shareholders started giving them a lot of hardship. So they found themselves, they had to look inwardly to find this lady. In fact, it was in the far village before they locate him. After they locate him, when he comes back, then found out, yeah, they begging him. They found a lot of things to do to please him.
So that the trade secrets can continue and then they can stay in business.
That is.
All right, at a time like this, people are holidaying and they're in the mood to try out new things. What kinds of delicacies should we be having this season? And how can food vendors cope with the demand, considering to the price of food items?
Well, that today price is higher. But at least within, I would say about a month or 2 months ago, before I increased my price, I believe in the dissimility, the people can afford with something. Now when you find out that today when you go to the market price have changed, but you cannot change it daily and daily and daily. We have to face the face back to see where you can meet up. We have tried to meet up. Even now we are still managing it. The way that means the people will normally, because I would say when there's a time for Christmas, then you know what kind of capacity we have who are patronizing it a lot. And moreover, I would say you can see youth in general, especially children, they will not go any place except they patronize us. They will come in when you cannot have a seat. That is number one. But when the thing is high, now you are killing the home. Parents, you will find difficult to give their children something to go. Now, I will give you one example. Now you take your child to school daily. And moreover too, when you get to the where Malan was selling biscuits and everything, you can see the child will start asking some questions. Now maybe the money you have in pocket is not enough, then you started choosing. If you buy this biscuit, Daddy, I don't want this one, I want this. Then you add more to it. And then you find yourself what kind of child he is. Because you don't have enough to cater for that child. But the moment you become familiar to the Malan or whatever who sold those biscuits, then Malan, give me tomorrow, I will do. So you can see the stress behind that. But if you have it, you give to the child. If you don't have it, but now we make it the place that anybody can affordable. I know with surrounding me, people have their price are higher than mine. I don't care about it. Because the source of idea we have in the past, they don't have that idea. We have someone supply something, we know the type of thing we needed. And I know that when you meet it, it can meet up. It's not by having the whole nation before you can make everything, but the little you have, it's a little drop of water, make a mountain ocean. I believe in that principle.
What about the delicacies?
The delicacies is still there. There's not a lot. We have a lot of things to do. If not probably today, delicacy is fine, things are good, we have a lot of changes. We can produce a lot of things which other companies cannot produce. But the point is that I will tell you something. Before Mr. Big was coming in, he's from Kingsway. When UAC departed to go to Abuja or whatever, they closed down their business. Then they go to Mr. Big. So they meet us, we are the arrival. Today is no more. You know, all of what you see them is yesterday. But the only thing we are not moving, however, because we want to make at the cemetery to be more. The delicacy, you are going to see a fantastic something. Maybe when you be there, I would host you for a while.
Okay, but let's look at food vendors generally, not just what you offer. What kind of delicacies do you think people are seeking for at this time?
Now, there is what's reigning the situation that fried rice is reigning today in everywhere. I want fried rice. If you see your children, whatever, Daddy, I want fried rice. The jollof rice at home, but let's give you the fried rice, this one. Then barbecue, this, shawarma, all these things. Idomi is just like for children something. Now we have the same part of it. We have spaghetti, bolognese, some other things. We have those things there. And that is more or less. And then we can do a lot more than that. We have a lot of things for that area. So when it times like this, we can see the demand, the pressure, they will give them what we want. But if you want to go to all lengths, you'll find yourself very difficult to make it. That's the point. Now we have barbecue issues, which we can go about, and that's part of the system. Yeah. So we have a lot of things we can put in place. So that means when you come in, you cannot have difficulty to have the education you want to, and then you get the text too, as I'm telling you. But I based on the old man with the granddaughter. So I always have to open the eyes to text what is right. That is it.
All right, let's look at these development where you have a food outlet that will start very well, you know, with the standard there, but after a while you discover that when it comes to the standard is being, is being compromised over time, whereby the quality of the food will reduce. What should food vendors do over time to sustain the standard and ensure that maybe the process or the method is being passed from one generation to the other, and as a result they stay in businesses? Because you discover big outlets, they're out of businesses, probably because there's no succession plan and there is no proper way to document their production process. So what should be done to ensure that as a business owner you're sustaining your level of production, especially when it comes to food, over time?
Yeah, that's a good question. Now I will say something. When you talk of fried rice, I don't think people who experience our product most. They don't know the challenges behind it. And secondly, how we produced it. I can give you fried rice, you can stay a day and over. It will stay the same. That's the secret. Normally, when you have a fried rice at home, they cooked but not fried. That is what we see today. They cook, and after cooking, they put the ingredients and everything, they will show to you. But within some hours' time, you can see the wattage started from the food. If you want to try it in window 1 hour or 2 hours down. And you go to the, but all they give you right now, you eat it right now. You are okay with it. But after that, but I will give you that one to the following day. It will make the same as you are. That's the secret behind it. Now, when you talk fried rice, it doesn't mean cooking. It's fried rice, it will fry. You must fry it. After you cook your rice, you must fry it. And there's a lot of ingredients you are going to use for it. There's a pepper called abaliru. I don't know whether you heard the name before. You did taste it before?
Yes.
How did you go?
It was well. And the flavor too, the aroma it brings is also very nice.
Thank you very much. There are a lot of things we put in place. Now, those things are more important. Every day we advance our aims or objective behind the cooking. And then we normally go out to buy others to see how it works. But our standard, nobody has done it in this arena because they don't know the value of the system, how we are operating on that. So, in a nutshell, we can give you the assurance of that when Paul give you fried rice, the fried rice can take overnight. It will stay the same without no problem.
You know, the first time you also said something like this, Femi was asking if the commercial department was listening. That was pro bono because we're but this one, I'm not sure it's going to go pro bono.
You'll come to training one day.
Oh, really?
No, I believe somewhere along the line, in the studio, we demonstrate. I believe in teaching, and I believe in principle, but if I want to teach, even probably before we think we can teach people at home. You can call us, we'll come home and teach you so that you may know about it. There is a program in the United States, that's what they do. The person will go to your house and teach you how to.
So the food business is expanding beyond just providing the food, but also providing cooking lessons for people at this time. Okay, so what other business supports the food business to reach out to lots of customers? Not everybody can come to where you are, and even you mentioned the place being overcrowded at this time. So what support do you get to ensure that you reach out to customers, they get a taste of what you have to offer?
Yeah, that's a good question. You know, today we are online, so I will not say much. Online business, phone business, and then transfer or whatever. So we are now in advanced level of doing that. And secondly, if you want to deliver, there's a delivery. So if you want something, we can call someone to deliver for you when you ask for it. It's number thing in Nigeria today, in all over the world. You know. Even somebody took a bicycle, they can deliver to you. If you want anything you want, because normally we based on school when they were vacating, churches and other things, they booked a lot. And then they book, they will not do supply to them. Sometimes they come for it, sometimes they do my supply. They will take it along and deliver to them. We do that, which we cannot be difficult at all.
All right. With that submission, we must thank you for your time and your commitment. Reverend Paul Freeman, the CEO, Paul and Paul Fruits. Thank you so much for your time on Early Exchange and for giving us an oversight of what food business is at this season. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. You are blessed.
Amen.
I think the good Lord will bless you all.
Amen.
All right, it's time for sports. Sport lovers, where are you? Sport enthusiasts, where are you? This is your time. This is your season. Your man, Souq, is standing by to take you around the world of sport, and that will happen shortly after this break. Stay with us.
My name is Dr. Rafiu Oladipo.
My name is Baba Jalal Repega.
I'm Reverend Juliet Benite.
I'm Godi Odidi.
My name is Professor Oladokun Sulaiman Olarawaju.
Souq News is on the ground, loading.
Very enlightening, very educative, and entertaining.
Thank you to Souq News. So I'm happy that Souq TV has come into existence.
I'm happy to be here in the Souq News.
I want to encourage you to subscribe to the channel and keep watching news that makes sense.
As Browning said, one's extension of one's reach should not exceed one's grasp, or what is heaven for. And I think Souq News is doing that.
Africa needs a voice of truth, and Souq News has become one of them. And get ready, get ready, get ready.
And keep watching.
Keep watching Souq News.
Keep watching Souq News. It's a place to be.
Keep watching.
Tafawa Balewa Square, TBS. Tafawa Balewa Square was initially used as a horsing ground called Lagos Race Course. The edifice was constructed by General Yakubu Gowon in 1972 and named after Nigeria's first Prime Minister, Sir Tafawa Balewa. Tafawa Balewa Square is located at 45/57 Marse Bangboshe Street on Lagos Island, Lagos, and referred to as TBS. TBS is a 50,000-seater capacity venue and houses the Remembrance Arcade, the 26-story Independence House, which at a time was the country's tallest building. When Lagos served as the country's seat of government, the National Assembly Complex was within the TBS. Also in the square are the National Broadcasting Commission Office, the Nigerian Hydrological Services Agency Office, shopping centers, travel agencies, restaurants, car parking lots, and a bus terminal. Tafawa Balewa Square is adorned with beautiful statues of white horses and red eagles, symbols of strength and dignity. Our historic neighbors include the King's College and the Holy Cross Cathedral. Tafawa Balewa Square hosted some of the country's memorable events, such as the Independence Day in 1960, when Nigeria gained independence from Britain, the Armed Forces Remembrance Day, which is celebrated annually on January 15. The edifice is a national cultural asset. Tafawa Balewa Square, Souq Enlightenment.
I'm okay.
My name is Raymond Bola Brown.
Hi, my name is Fred Amata, and you are on to Souq News.
If you are watching this channel for the first time, make sure you continue to watch it because this is Souq News.
Shout out to Souq News. Actually, I don't know. I really enjoyed the little moment I spent with you, and I think with more of this.
Souq News. Here's the Souq News who had the courage to transcend a locked off camera and actually have a conversation with a human being. It's a pleasure, Souq News. Thank you very much.
My name is Olatunji Shoti Miri. I'm a performing artist and, television radio presenter and a university lecturer, Unilag. Keep watching Souq News.
Hello everyone, my name is Kenny Black, Africa's finest music comedian, and you're watching Souq News. If you're not watching Souq News, I pity you, but keep watching Souq News.
Hello everyone, my name is Timmy Dakolo, and you're watching Souq News. Stay tuned.
Hi, my name is Wisdom Oluwaseun Okoko, co-founder Orbit Africa Properties. I'm live at Souq News. Guys, keep watching Souq News. For everything that concerns business, economy, politics, news, Souq News is your station.
Broad Street. Broad Street, situated in Lagos Island, is steeped in Nigerian history. Once the biggest financial hub of the country, it housed the headquarters of major banks, linked the CBN, the stock exchange, and the loads of lender companies. Broad Street is a historically significant street. It has played a central role in the development of Lagos and history, an important commercial and administrative center for the British colonial authorities. It was also a home to some of the city's earliest modern buildings. Broad Street was a residential area in the pre-colonial era. With the British came the Methodist Boys High School in 1878 and the Broad Street Prison in 1882, renamed Freedom Park. The General Hospital, which was a British military hospital, was built in 1893, being the first general hospital in Nigeria. The old British Secretariat building, which is now the Federal Ministry of Justice, was built in 1906. Broad Street has seen a full turn into modern commercial office blocks, complexes, skyscrapers, and markets from the Outer Marina through Akpombo, early into the Adeniji Adele Road. Broad Street is one of the busiest streets in Nigeria on weekdays, where commercial activities take place day and night. From modern buildings to ancient structures, this street gives one a raw dose of life in Lagos. Broad Street is often referred to as Lagos Financial District. It boasts a mix of architectural styles, reflecting its long history, colonial-era buildings, Victorian and Edwardian architectural features, alongside more modern skyscrapers and structures. Broad Street remains a vital, vibrant part of the Nigerian economy. Broad Street. Souq Enlightenment.
Morning and welcome to Early Exchange with Blessing Eche, Femi Ayodele, Sam Oruoje, and Idahosa Osamanze.
It's a national orientation agency. It's, as far as I'm concerned, very idle and unprofessional.
If government says that subsidy is not in oil and government is not supposed to be paying subsidy in oil,
energy or whatever kind of off-grid solution we will be looking at.
Today we are conducting mining today. Solid minerals, as an example, is, in no disrespect to anybody, it's a bismarck. We definitely need improvements in those areas. Of course, there are infrastructural needs.
This is Early Exchange, shaping policy, advancing development.
Hello, good morning, and it's a beautiful morning in the studio. It's Early Exchange, but do not forget, this is Sports View, where we bring you top happenings across the world in the sporting world, not just football, boxing, Formula One, MotoGP. Now, we bring you everything making sense to boxing. And for those thinking of a white Christmas, Anthony Joshua is promising this is not going to be a white Christmas for someone. Hello there, I am Juvi Ufiene, and I'm not alone on Sports View. I got one of the best in the industry right here with me. I've got you.
So my name has now turned to you. Yes, good morning, wherever you're seeing us from. It's a nice, beautiful Harmattan day, and Merry Christmas in advance. My name is Souq, and this is Sports View.
All right, you're welcome once again. I said in my opening salvo, Anthony Joshua is just telling the young man, he said, this is not Otto Wallin, this is not going to be a white Christmas for you. The fight is on Saturday, and it's in the UK. The fight is some £19.99 to go with, and
that's pay-per-view.
Yes. He is saying. I mean, I've heard, the old trash talking, and he's saying, bro, I'm going to whip you so hard. This is war. I'm going to bloody you. And from Cape Verde to Cairo to Riyadh, I'm going to bloody you.
Were you there when he said that?
I know how Anthony feels right now.
Okay.
Yes.
Anthony is squaring up against Otto Wallin on Saturday, and that Saturday is going to be packed full because there are still several fights that same night. That card is packed. And Anthony told Wally, I will dominate.
No, he said it emphatically.
He went further to say, just imagine what I could do to Tyson Fury. In my mind, I said, win this fight first.
No.
Before you start thinking of
I believe Anthony is going to bloody this young man. Anthony is in the right spirit. I mean, he said, I want to hurt him. You know what it feels like? He said, I need to win. I have to win. He said it's going to be blood and bruises all the way. And I'm very optimistic Anthony Joshua is going to knock this one out. Saturday. My money is there.
Ladies and gentlemen, I wish Anthony the best. I still wish him the best. The young man is going to earn in excess of £8 million in this particular fight. Win or lose, he's going home a rich man. He's coming a rich man, he's going home richer. So hey, Anthony, we wish you the best. Just make sure you go there and win. And peradventure he wins, then he's most likely going to meet Deontay if that other bronze bomber wins too.
Now, Anthony's got pride here because he wants to get back into real shape. You know, he's got the WBA, IBG, and WBO that he lost, and so he wants. It's pride for him. It's not just any fight. It's not for money. Anthony's doing well.
Anthony's not good at trash talking.
I mean, for the young man to come all out this time and say, I'm going to whip you so silly. It is going to be bloodbath. It's going to be bruises.
We know Anthony as a handsome gentleman. He just goes there and delivers the goods.
This is the
so
part
Anthony,
you've not seen yet.
Keep quiet, get into that ring, and beat the guy silly.
Well, Wallen is saying, hey, Papi, you're past your peak, man. I'm going all out. I'm going all up. All right. And so let's take it to our very own Victor Boniface.
Before we get to Victor Boniface, hope you know Wilder is also fighting on Saturday.
Yeah, the fight is good, but for me, I take pride in Anthony. This time, I'm just being very selfish. I'm going to be very selfish.
Don't be selfish. Wilder is fighting Parker, same Saturday, and whoever wins, most likely there's going to be a fight in March between who wins between Anthony and Wallins and Parker and the bronze bomber. So in March 2024, expect a bomber. But before March, this Saturday is packed full. And if you want to watch wherever you are, if in the US, it's $39.99 for pay-per-view. And if you're in the UK, it's 19.99 pounds pay-per-view. So imagine the money. The Saudi boxing chiefs are keeping quiet on their prize pots. But we know that there's a whole lot of millions in there. Yeah,
there's a whole lot of millions. And Boniface is doing quite well back to back since August. It's been the rookie.
You need to add his full name.
Victor Boniface.
No, complete it. Victory. The guy is victorious. What else do you expect?
5 times and consecutive since August. Back to back, and it doesn't look like he's going to rest.
Let me give you what his statistics look like. He's played 23 matches, scored 16 goals, 8 assists, and the young man is 22 years. Bayer Leverkusen, who did this scouting for you?
Well, gladly he's on the team. Super Eagles. That's more important to me.
AFCON, right?
Yeah. So we expect more goals if he's doing all this right there in Germany. He should come back and prove himself. Otherwise, I'm going to whip him silly. 5 times, you're right. And so on the transfer market right now as well, couple of clubs are already looking at. Tottenham is looking at Genoa centre-back Radu Drasujin. Is 21-year-old. They're looking at £26 million. And also Real Madrid.
Who is doing these valuations?
I mean, that's what the market is saying.
Okay.
That's what the market is saying. And for me, Madrid, a 30-year-old Mauro Icardi, Galatasaray.
No, Icardi is
30.
No. You don't take away experience.
About 30.
Icardi is good.
It's good, but
there is no but here. He's just 30.
Just?
Yes. How old is Kane? How old is Kane? How old is Messi? How old is Ronaldo?
Those guys are not.
There is no those guys.
For Real Madrid?
Yes.
30?
Yes.
Okay. I hope he doesn't retire when he gets there, just like every other person is. Well, Madrid is there, but Madrid is exceptional. The young man is exceptional.
Is also exceptional.
Really?
Of course, yes. If you put your mind to it, you can achieve it.
I've heard you if you put your mind to it. All right, but talking of putting your mind to it, Turkey is in the news again for the very wrong reason. Another one. club presidents.
Let's say a prayer for Turkey. These are not just the best times for them.
It's not going to be a white Christmas in Turkey. Yeah.
And what even made me very sad that we have a Nigerian there.
Yeah. He banged the net on that very day.
And I just wish whenever they try to do any of those altercations, you should just stay clear because those guys can fight.
Their punches are deadly.
The club president and a whole club president walked onto the pitch and told his players, we no play no more. Everybody let's go out.
No, I think his complaint was they deserve a penalty before, they were not awarded the penalty. So he felt, but isn't that condescending, a club president stepping onto the pitch? And it's not like when we used to play football. You cry home, then your mother comes and say, the football ends right here. Yeah, Junior, bring the ball, let's go home. I think that was what just played out. Junior, bring the ball, let's go home.
You can't come to our home and cheat us.
You can't cheat us now. Turkey right now,
to make matters worse, also in same Turkey, a third division club, on Wednesday, the game ended in a fight, as in an open brawl.
It's becoming one too many. Last week there was a punch that landed the referee.
Yes,
emergency ward.
And the referee said he's not going to forgive. So I'm just wondering what's going to happen.
Someone that would blood in your eyes. You could not see again. Football is, from the word go, it's about friendship, love, and Turkey is not doing that right now. I don't know.
I think they are into the wrong spots. Turkey Federation, just convert your football federation to a boxing federation.
Maybe they should try the UFC.
Give them a
UFC.
Let them prove themselves, especially the president.
UFC, they are waiting for them.
Well, you never can tell.
All right, man. Kingdom Arena Riyadh is where the activity is going down. There is still another boxing match going down again.
Same day.
Same venue. I watched the sports minister in Saudi Arabia, and he was saying they are not there to compete. They just want to give an environment to organize the biggest sporting event in the world and give the place.
It's tourism, it's business, and these people have seen it and they've latched onto it. This is serious business. Imagine the amount of tourists that will be pouring into Saudi Arabia.
Hotel reservation, taxis. Tourist centers.
And see what it's doing to their image.
Yeah, their image.
No one is talking bad about them anymore.
Yeah.
If you say war, you don't even think about them, whether they are sponsoring anybody, or you just see them in the good light. And that is good for business.
Yeah, I hope the FA in Nigeria, NFF, and the rest are looking into this. Lagos is a good place. Port Harcourt is a good place. Abuja. We could do well with all these things. Let's
certainly do well. And also, Deborah is trying to get his hands on who's his partner.
I hope. Jarrell Miller. I hope he can handle what is. Because check at the start.
That fight is going to be bloody.
Dubois 19 pro fights. You lost 2, and the undefeated Miller has won 26, drew just 1.
That fight is going to be.
No, check the physical. It's like you wanting to challenge me right now. A David and a Goliath. That is what it looks like.
Who is David?
I'm Goliath. That's what it is, man. It is.
I like the way you think.
I'm thinking futuristic, and so. That is the fight, another fight at the Kingdom Arena Riyadh again. And there is, like we said, it's business for these guys. And they're bringing the top sport. Not just, what is it called now? Boxing, football, and tennis as well. And so I think
UFC, everyone is going there.
The weekend is going to be fun as we prepare for the white Christmas. Some will be getting bloodied, but I wish you well. You'll be getting some money to go with your bruises. And Anthony Joshua, all the way, man. All the way. I'm rooting for you, your brother in Nigeria. Remember, man, my money is on you. And so, from me, Anthony Joshua.
Will you share the punches with him?
Nah, it's love from me. So, from me, before we return to the early exchange team.
Yeah, I want to say thank you to everyone that has been there for us, and for every marketer out there, for every promo out there, for every agent out there, for every product out there. Come on Souqville, Souq Sports. We have all the environment you need to push your product. We love you.
All right, and so that is how we call it a wrap today. I am Juvie Ofiene on Sportsview. Early Exchange continues in a moment where we take you back to Femi Ayodele, who he's been waiting to give you a wrap.
Good morning and welcome to Early Exchange with Blessing Aiche, Femi Ayodele, Sam Oruoje, and Idahosa Osamanze.
It's a national orientation agency. It's, as far as I'm concerned, very idle and unprofessional.
If government says that subsidy is not in oil and government is not supposed to be paying subsidy in oil,
energy or whatever kind of off-grid solution we will be looking at.
Today we are conducting mining today. Solid minerals, as an example, is, in no disrespect to anybody, it's a bismarck. We definitely need improvements in those areas. Of course, there are infrastructural needs.
This is Early Exchange, shaping policy, advancing development.
was a good one from Souq and Juvie. You know, interestingly, Juvie has succeeded in introducing another word to sport register, kondo. You know, he's fond of saying kondo. I wonder where that comes from, but I hope you enjoyed that segment. On this note, we have to call it a wrap on this show. It's Early Exchange, and don't forget the conversation continues on our social media platform, on our Facebook page, on our X page. You can still pass your comment. Today we had to talk about businesses that thrive during this season. Talk about food business, talk about transport business. And from me to you, ensure that you make today worthwhile, because every day is just like a new book. Keep writing your story. And I'm out of here. I am Femi Ayodele. Bye for now.